Looking like a fuckwit.
No,
Looking like one of those dudes in the mall that spray paint, like spray perfume. And they're like, hey, have you tried this new sea salt?
Or like what I used to do.
I worked with guys like that at David Jones' suit section.
No,
Junction.
yeah, you were
2009.
I tell you what, they also remind me of the. Do you remember when I sold raffle tickets for like half a day on the side of the road?
Not really.
So it was like when I finished school, or maybe I didn't know you.
You sell raffle tickets?
No, I didn't. I was 18 and I finished school.
Nah, I wouldn't have.
And, it was like, get a job. You're out of school, fucking. And so I was like looking through the paper for fucking jobs because I was like, I just didn't feel like working in a pub. And so I found like, it was like some sort of sales job. I'm thinking, oh, cool, fucking like some sort of sales thing. I don't know what the fuck. I'm like,
Do you think you were Wolf of Wall Street?
Like just that, not even like I wanted to be that, but just sort of like, oh, cool, like sales job. So now like come in for a fucking meeting. So I'm like wearing a suit down.
You wore a suit
in Surrey Hills, and I get up there.
Did your old man tell you
it
to wear a suit?
It didn't fit. The suit wasn't like fitted to me.
No, I'm just wondering did you decide to wear the suit or were you told to wear it?
It's a good question, actually. I don't know.
Was it straight black and white, or was it?
It was just a blue suit that was too big on me. I think I wore it to my year 10.
Did it have shoulder pads?
Not pads in it, but it was big enough. Like it was not swimming on me, but I looked stupid. But then anyway, I get up to this place in Surrey Hills and like you're seeing dudes in suits and ponytails, and it's like a really small fucking room, and they're just having their sales meeting, ring the bell, and like. Almost immediately when you walk in.
That actually exists, the ring the bell shit.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That exists everywhere where it's like if you've reached your target or if you've made a sale, people get up and ring a bell.
Bells are rung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was like, as soon as you went in there, even as an 18-year-old, I was like, this isn't what I expected. And then it was like...
What did you expect?
Well, I didn't know what I expected, but I didn't expect this. Anyway, as I realised I got there, the whole job was you sell... You know when you're like outside of a fucking Woolworths or a Westfield, there's dudes sitting there like they've got a fold-out table and shit. And they're like, oh, you want to buy some raffle tickets for the Lifesavers? And so I'm like, all right, sweet, what's going on? We'll just sort of take this in our stride. And then he goes, all right, Tom's here, work experience. Or like, job trial. You're going to go out with Chris and Nick and you guys are heading out to Chesterfield? Is it Chesterfield? Chester Hills?
Chester Hills.
Just grab the fold-up chairs and the fold-up table and head down to the train station. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? So I've got these dudes.
And you had to get the train.
We had to walk down the train with a fold-out, like wrestling chairs and a fold-out table, and we're just like sitting on the train. I'm like, this is fucked. Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, we're gonna go and fucking sell raffle tickets anyway. We get to Chesterfield after an hour and something on the train.
And you had to you talked the whole way out there.
Bro, I barely, like, I'm sort of like dejected at this point, like just with every fucking stop we're hitting on the train.
With your big suit on.
My huge suit. We get out there.
This is what my life has amounted to.
And we check it. We set up the thing outside the newsagent. And it's like, all right, try and get people off the street to buy raffle tickets. And just people just kept broing. And I was like, they were trying to sell it to me like, it's really good. Oh, yeah, if you make sales, you get commissions. And I was like, it was maybe out there for an hour. And I just went, boys, thanks for the opportunity. Train station's there. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I just left. And I just never
I love the I love the copium that they tell each other of like, if you go, all right, if you sell X, you get this commission. So you all sit around and go, okay, well that's fucking. I'll just go sell 20 tickets, and I'll get $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And that's what 20 per hour, 1 per hour. Boys, that's easy.
Easy.
And then fucking 5 hours in, you sold 3, and you go, this is fucked.
This is fucked. 3, Denon, 0. No sales made. The whole fucking morning. It was hot as shit. I was in a suit.
So do you think, like, when you eventually become worth $100 million and you're sitting on your entrepreneur podcast telling your life story, are you going to talk about the sales that you learned in that bit?
Yeah. Well, I think you just got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And at that point, it was fold them. Get the fuck out of there. This ain't for you.
Everyone worth their salt's had a good sales job, though.
Yeah, you've had a crack.
You've had a crack. I was a telemarketer for a while.
A telemarketer?
Ringing up on behalf of like the child's oncology unit and shit.
I did not know that.
What was that like?
It was etch. Because you'd make like, I swear to God, probably like 600 calls a day and say the same thing and people would just fucking hang up on you, fuck off, blah, blah, blah. You get through to a couple. But it was so entwined in my mind, this will fucking wig you out. It was so entwined in my mind, and the cue for me was hello because there was no dial tone. And it just kept fucking rolling through automatically. As soon as someone said hello, you were on. I was folding shirts at David Jones, and someone said hello, and I looked up and I go, hi, it's Edward calling on behalf of the like fully wigged my brain out. Yeah.
So you like that is evidence of full brainwashing.
Yeah.
Holy
crazy.
fuck. Holy shit, I
Yeah,
know.
she goes,
That was
what? And I was like,
Camp.
melted. I think I fucking legged it. I don't know.
Oh my
Like the
God,
deep,
dude.
the deep.
I used to dream about it and shit.
Yeah.
It fucked me up.
That's what I mean. Like the trauma and the deeper
People were there
meaning.
for years, bro. I was there for like fucking 3 months and it almost killed me.
Man, that spins me out because I'm always like you're on this earth for one life, and you're like, and this is what I do. Like I'm supposed to be chasing lions and shit,
Yeah.
and I'm ringing
Yeah.
some fucking person that hates me guts.
Well, yeah,
And
you get through to literally just like a hello and they just fucking bang. it.
Wow. I worked at General Pants in the city, Pitt Street.
Did you?
Yeah.
When?
I was a gun too. I was like, I would like it on top of the sales and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
After
Were you one of
after
those
your career,
annoying
I was
motherfuckers
playing-
who were like,
playing-
hey man, can I help you out with sizes and t-shirts and shit? And you're like, oi, fuck off. I'll tell you if I need you.
I use the don't care method.
Ah, nice.
It's like, bro, honestly, like, if you don't want it, who cares?
Yeah.
And then that got them like, relax. And
That's
so-
the best way because if you go there and
Exactly.
you just get molested by
100%.
fucking everyone in the staff and it's just like, hey man, you need help with sizes? You're like, I don't need help with
And
fucking
I would
sizes.
literally be like, bro, I'm here, need be, if not, sweet. And then I would leave them go, let them go. And that actually worked more
That's
because
exactly
they'd
how
be
you
like,
do it.
I just released the anxiety from them. And then I'd be like, man, the socks are like there. Fucking may as well. They're fucking $10. I don't, honestly, bro, I don't care.
I don't
if you
give a
get it or
fuck.
not. I honestly don't care. Matter of fact, I'll punch my manager for you
Yeah.
if you want me to. That's why I don't care about
I
this
don't give a
job.
shit. You want socks?
And yeah, I was at the top. And then eventually I just fucking said, this is shit. Fuck this. And I bounced. It's like, I should be playing footy. I shouldn't be doing this shit.
Was this pre-footy?
No, this is in footy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I was always on like, fuck all money. Like the most I ever was on was 50K.
Did you get
matches.
recognised as a footy player when you were selling
When I was
shit?
pouring beers and that for a bit.
But not at General Pants?
Not at General Pants because that's when I'd quit and gone to union for a little bit.
Oh, right.
Sad, dark time in my life. For all parties, really. I wasn't worth it. Played shit because I hated it.
Where'd you play union again?
I was with the Australian 7 squad and then I was at South District. And I was good the first few games, but then I realised, like, I don't like this. And I just fucking...
What year were you with the Sevens?
2011 or 12 or something
Was
like
Nick
that.
Phipps playing then?
Oh,
Clinton
bro,
Sills?
I don't even know. I honestly can't even remember.
Silsey.
He played Sevens?
You did.
Yeah. Anyway.
For a brief moment, I
don't
believe.
know.
Naming fast and athletic people we know. Well, Phipps fucking was,
Well.
but Clinton was fast.
Yeah, I mean, fast for a normal bloke. He would have been.
Who?
Phipps.
Yes. No,
Yes.
but Clinton Still's fast for a fast bloke.
Okay.
He's like 10-second fast.
Really?
He ran.
Wow.
He was fast as fuck.
Yeah, he was fast as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it was what was funny though is that we went away to a camp, and maybe like I remember it differently, but so we went away to a camp, and all the union boys were basically like went for the camp, staying in, like we're on the Gold Coast, and I was the only one that I was like trying to get a crew together. I'm like, boys, let's fucking go and rip it tear, and they were all like, no, we're on camp, man, we're on camp, and I'm like,
Yeah. Different
this
mentality.
fucking cunt serious? Let's fucking get it going. Let's go, boys.
That's the rugby union mentality.
And
dude.
I was like, wow, these are not leagueies, are they? And like it's double-edged sword. Like union players are much more polite and like it's nowhere near the level of aggressive, negative feedback.
you probably won't get cowed
constantly.
punched by a union player.
No. But yeah, so I ended up whipping the boys together.
Oh, you got him up?
Yeah.
Whipped him into a frenzy.
Whipped him into a frenzy, took him down a Mermaid Tav and jagged a Sheila, snuck her to our room. Just a disgusting human being, really.
Well, it doesn't sound like you were
this
bad.
young-
Sound
I mean,
like you're a
I was
nice
also
guy.
young. I was 20, I think I was like 23 at that stage.
Did they buy in?
Not
Or
all
were
the
they-
way.
or were
I
they
was the
pretty-
only one that was sneaking people around that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a disgusting human. That makes you a young 23-year-old.
A rugby league player.
Means you're a leaguey.
I was playing league.
Yeah, you're a league.
I brought league to the people of union, but yeah, I was the only. It wasn't until after I looked back and I was like, I fully brought the league attitude to.
That's 90% of the
Rip
reason
and
why
tear.
rugby league players are signed by rugby union. It's like, how the fuck are we going to market the game? Get a leaguey on board. Bro, before the season even started, Vunivalu was fucking in the newspaper for getting into a stoush with a bouncer. It was like, there you go, advertising.
and that was the biggest.
Free.
That was the biggest, probably the biggest article all year, probably. For
Yeah,
him.
easy.
But
Did
yeah.
hanging around union players soften you?
It was just like they were just more like articulate and polite. It was like there was no like you fucking loser, fuck you. Like have a look at that haircut. You look like
Articulate
shit.
and polite.
Whereas there was no like there was no banter. Don't get me wrong, they were like great blokes, like legends of blokes. Just a very different vibe. Like you weren't walking into training having every single deep-seated fear and I guess insecurity about you being torn apart by 30 other alpha.
Yeah, right.
Just gorillas in a room ready to fuck at all times.
Sounds
But yeah,
nice.
it was funny. Like I was the only one. I was getting the boys up to go out. Got pissed. the only one sneaking people around the hotel, and it was a culture divide. That was
You were setting the tone, though.
I
which is
was
nice.
setting the tone. I think the boys, I don't know how they ended up going when they went away, but yeah, good times.
Good times.
Rugby sevens. Fuck, I played so shit towards the end of my career because I was just like, fuck, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Just over it.
Just so over it. And you've got to be committed. You've got to either love it or be committed. Because if you're even like 80%, you just, when it gets hard, you're like, man, I'm not going to, I got to take a hit up and get wristled by that 120 kilo beast.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Anyway, all right. All good?
Yep.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by its very own beer, a sports show that has its own beer. I think that's the first of its kind. I haven't seen it in Australia at least. So get on board the Bloke bandwagon. Get on board the Bloke bandwagon. We've got some stores here that we're highlighting. Eaton Hills in Brisbane, regional Queensland, Bartlett Tavern, Rockhampton, Liquor Legends at Berserker, and the A1 Highway, Metro Sydney, Camperdown Cellars, Saltwater Creek Gold Coast, Steve Liquor St Kilda, Jack Celebrations Ballarat, Liquor Legends Yarralumla in ACT, South Australia, Queens Cliff Liquor Legends, Tasmania Celebrations Hornville, WA Malaga Tavern in WA, Northern Territory, Hidden Valley Tavern, and regional New South Wales, IGA Liquor Weewa. So get down to those stores if you're in that area. If you're not in that area or close to that, go to our store locator on blokeandabar.com. Also join the Bloke Club, bloke.club. We've got some massive things coming your way. But I have the great Tom and Eddie and Tom of Hello Sport fame. How you going, boys?
Fantastic, Zenon.
Good to be here, mate. Good to be here.
How was your weekend?
Terrific.
Fantastic weekend. Lockdown life, treating me well, treating you well, it seems, Eddie. You look handsome.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. You look skinnier.
Well, I have been
How's that
starving
going?
myself. It's going all right. The shin splints have taken their toll on my shins, on my body, and I've had to
What about your soul?
Yeah,
That's
a little
the
bit
main
on the
thing.
soul because I'm like, I'm doing everything I was told to do to fucking stop the shin splints, and they ain't stopping. So
Do you think that's God's way of saying you're just not built for it?
Listen, I don't.
I'm not trying to be harsh, but
That was fucking offensive off the top. I am not a man of the cloth unless it pertains to something that I want it to pertain to. You know what I mean? So like I'll suck the devil's dick, even though I don't believe in the devil, and then Manly has a good run. But so no, I don't believe in what you're saying there. God probably still thinks I'm a good runner. I think it's more just like nothing's easy in life. You got to be prepared to overcome, adapt. So I haven't run for a couple of days, but.
Well, is it the universe's way of putting you where you may or may not belong in the pecking order when it comes to activities that involve exercising?
Do you mean as in like I may see myself one way, but the universe is basically showing me hard truths?
Potentially.
Or maybe God's saying he wants you in that tight lycra on a bike,
See now,
straddling a saddle.
That's true.
you know what though? Hemorrhoids, I imagine. I just don't. I'd more like, you know.
I don't think it's
I've
a
been doing
fait
it in
accompli.
boxing.
I don't think if you ride a bike you get hemorrhoids.
I've been
Yeah.
doing some boxing.
You've been doing some boxing. He's so violent. Like,
Yeah.
always brings it back to fighting.
This is just like cardio boxing.
But
I'm not-
once
I'm not
again,
punching
like
people.
we've gone from, trying to help you out through your journey
Hands
of weight
up,
loss.
hands up.
And you're literally squaring up
It's
to me
all
right
through
now.
the hips. That's what I'm realizing, guys. It's all through the fucking hips. It's not about overextending.
Fucking
your
hell,
arms.
you're a violent man. Is there
No, I'm
anything
just
that
about-
you want to talk
Just
about?
about fucking economy of movement. I'm actually horrible. It's the worst. It's like
You got to
don't need to
bounce.
tell
You got to
us.
bounce around though a lot in boxing.
I actually feel.
Surely that would affect the shin.
I don't do a lot of bouncing, and I feel fucking self-conscious.
you're flat-footed.
I'm flat-footed.
Actually,
as fuck.
matter of fact, in the comment section,
Do you
let
do
us
it with
know.
the lid off?
Fuck no, dude.
Let
Not
us
yet.
let us know in the comment section. Do you feel you could beat Tom in a fight? And be honest. Be honest
100%.
with
No,
yourself.
well, like I mean,
Well,
I
give
can
you
answer that.
the tell of the tape. Let them know what they're up against
Yeah,
because
well,
they don't know how tall you
I'm
are.
100 kilos,
Yeah.
down from 104 2 weeks ago.
108,
108, and I'm 6 foot, 183 centimeters, whatever the fuck that is.
6'8".
Yep.
And I gas easily.
But you've run sub 12.
I've run sub 12 back in 2007.
So there is some explosiveness there.
There's echoes of explosiveness.
Put it this way: only leave a comment if you're in the sub 12. We don't want to hear about some bum running 14
No, no.
seconds. Or
If
something
you run
like
a sub 12, if you're 100 kilos, 6 foot, and
But
you've
also-
got shit knees
Yeah, bad knees. That's true. Bad knees.
and shin splints,
bad lower back, shin splints, psoriasis, when I'm drinking. Since drinking, psoriasis has actually gone off away fairly.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
There you go.
if you got psoriasis, stop drinking or just keep drinking. 'Cause it's
You're in the
fun.
war. Psoriasis, shin splints.
Dude, no. I'm good.
Oh my god. Also, leave in the comment section.
Do you say that every time? Like, do you make that sound every time you hit your punch?
That's the way you box, dude. I don't know if you fucking done that before, but if you don't, when you box, it takes
The hiss
sting
horse
off your
huss?
punch. Yeah, exactly. Takes sting off your punches.
You're an intimidating man, honestly. You are intimidating with that beard and just the way you're moving your hips. You're up there with Kalen Ponga when it comes to shaking of the hips. What I saw, anyway.
Well, I've certainly got hips to shake, and that's why I'm
They wobble.
on a diet. Yeah. So I'm on a
I
diet.
can't fucking talk. My wobble right now too.
No, you can talk compared to me. Trust me, I'm as soft as butter.
So, as we said in the comment section, does Tom intimidate you, and would you beat him in a fight?
Yes or no? It's pretty simple.
It's just yes or no.
Just yes or no.
It's yes or no.
We don't want
Matter of fact,
descriptions.
Best answer gets a case of beer.
There you go.
Best answer. It could be positive. You could talk Tom up and say he's a fucking scary guy, and that might get the case of beer.
But unlikely.
Unlikely. Yeah, unlikely. That's not going to get the needle moving.
What about yourself? I mean, you're probably the fittest out of the lot here. Have you been doing any exercise? The Oztag it's cancelled, obviously.
No, cancelled. I try to stay relatively fit, man.
Do you feel you can relate to a lot of professional athletes being locked up like this?
I feel caged, mate. It's like without Div 2 Oztag, who am I? I don't have an identity anymore.
Who are you without the
Who am I?
without the
Wake up
tags?
without the tags on. I look down and I'm tagless. Every time I fucking leave the house now, I look down, I've got no tags on. You know what I mean?
So
it's tough. Sometimes I put the Oztag shorts on, but I don't own any tags. So I'm like, I'm all at sea. I've been running, trying to,
recreate it,
compromise.
Tell a story about you did that marathon and you did a fucking fair effort, but your mates did some fucking crazy marathon and you got to a certain point, you were like, holy fuck, how are these guys still going?
So mates of ours did a run for Movember. They ran 3 marathons back to back from Bondi all the way up to Palm Beach and back again. And you could join in at certain stages.
Yeah.
We joined in at it was the hottest day on record, by the way. It was like 40 fucking 6
That's
degrees.
official?
I think it was the hottest.
No, it was like
I think it was the hottest November day in Sydney.
It was last summer and it was literally like 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And they tried to.
and I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll join in.
Yep.
And when you drive to Palm Beach, you don't realise how hilly it is. At least I've never realised. And they took the fucking coastal route and it's like this, mate. It was hell. And so like fucking 6Ks into it, I committed to 25.
Yeah.
And like 6Ks into it, I'm like, holy fuck. This is madness.
Committing to 25 is so much biting off more than you can
Oh
chew.
my God, I bit off so much. And they're like, oh, we're doing like 6-minute 30Ks. I'm like, perfect. Like, that's basically walking, right? And I got 13Ks in and I go, I've got to call it. Because otherwise I'm going to be in fucking hospital with heat stroke and I've got a 30th this afternoon and I just can't, I didn't sign up for it. My mates actually made it, credit to them. And then the other mates who were doing the full thing, they got to 80Ks and stopped. Too hot, couldn't keep down liquids. And then 3 days later or 4 days later on a Thursday, it was cooler. They did the whole thing again and finished it.
Madness.
Dan
Madness.
Price, Lockie Clancy.
Yeah,
Fucking
shout out to
hell.
them.
And one
Incredible.
of them, Dan, now is doing a 205-kilometre marathon running for 45 hours in November for Movember Foundation.
That is
Check it
fucking
out.
incredible. Yeah, make sure to check that out.
Dan Price on Instagram.
Before you agreed to 25Ks, what was...
I didn't really. I was just like, they
It's
were like, we're
arrogance.
doing 25. And I'm like, fuck. And they're like, it's slow. And then I was like, okay, sure.
What's the longest you had run before then within the last 12 months?
10Ks. Flat.
At best, probably.
Mate, 10Ks max, I think. Yeah, well, I'd run a 10Ks. It wasn't fucking that.
Yeah.
The elevation changed and it
The
was
heat.
hectic and the heat was ungodly. Like 46 degrees.
Yeah, no, the heat was
44 degrees.
ridiculous. I remember hearing, like, knowing you were running, I was like, fucking hell.
Anyway, I had to pull the pin for my own safety. My own well-being.
How did the beers taste later, though?
Oh,
Or were you too fatigued?
Like, they were good, but like, it was just hot the rest of the afternoon. The lunch was fucking... It wasn't air conditioned.
Was it one of those ones where
no.
after you stop exercising, it's like I could have had a shower and everything, but my body still continues to sweat for like
fucking hate
hours
that
after.
shit.
I
Oh
finish.
yeah. It was hell.
Now, on to biggest news of the day. The great Jimmy Maloney retires from rugby league. Obviously, he retired from the NRL a couple of years ago. He's been over at Cattle and Dragons. They are on top of the Super League, I'm pretty sure. But when we talk about a bloke of the punter of the dribbler, Maloney's got to be right up there.
Oh, God, yeah.
So,
A ripper and tearer.
oh,
Yeah. I've heard some stories
winner.
about Jimmy.
He is a fucking winner. Like,
You want to talk
somehow,
about
some way.
you want to talk about winners? You talk about Jimmy Maloney.
And what's crazy about him is that he's winning. Like, he was kind of just another half for like a fair chunk of his career, and then got to the Roosters and just started winning. But even then, he made the grand final with the Warriors.
Yeah,
But
so
like,
grand final there, grand final
Sharks.
and won, and then grand final Roosters won.
2 Prems and
Two
a
Prams, 3 grand
final.
finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 3 grand finals. Yeah. Yeah, incredible. And like when you look at it, you're like, you know, it's not like he had this crazy passing game or fast or, you know what I mean? There's not an attribute that he had that would set him above. But, and even in games, he could make like 2-3 errors, but he'd still find a way to win.
Yeah.
Even when he played for New South Wales, like,
Won a couple of shields.
you know, he just found a way to win.
I think it was either it was when in the Origin context someone was talking about him just when he plays though, but it was like when he does fuck up, it just didn't rattle him. It was like, oh well, whatever, just keep going.
You've got to be like that. I mean, you've got to care, but at the same time, if the worst thing, like I was bad at it too. If I made an error, I'd be like, fuck, and then my confidence is rattled. It's this fine balance. If you don't care, you'll make heaps of errors. But if you do care too much, you won't be confident for the rest of the game. But
The Goldilocks zone of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, the Goldilocks zone. Flow state.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like flow state is overutilized?
Definitely, but there are times when I feel like I've been in flow state, probably with you, just when we're talking shit to each other.
You can get into flow state for dribble and for yarn for 100%.
Yeah, we certainly find
absolutely.
that.
Where you just can't miss, and you're like, holy shit, what's happening? And it's just pouring out of you, and you never know what's happening.
No.
But it's happening. It's crazy.
Sometimes it's like
you're
out-of-body
actually
experience.
listening to your own
Yeah.
fucking voice. You don't know what's going to come up next.
You're hovering above yourself, watching
Yeah.
yourself just dribble your
An
ass
out of
off.
body dribble experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like runner's high. It's called dribbler's high.
Yeah.
Wow. So dribblers high.
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Where you get high on your own dribble. Yeah. And which compounds and then
it's
snowballs and then
and if you're bouncing off someone else that's also in the state,
well, they have to be in the state too.
Yeah. And that's when you sort of get some sort
Because
of...
otherwise you're just talking to yourself.
Which most dribbling is. It's fucking
Well,
talking over the top of
not
everyone.
Yeah, that's true. You're shouting at someone. That's more of your late night dribble.
Oh, I know.
Where you literally have to put
you
your
love
hand
that.
up to speak.
When we've had a gutful, and then it's Eddie just in the corner, just the loudest voice in the room. It's like you can just tell you like Eddie's on one.
Yeah.
He's in flow state right now. You gotta let him rip.
Let me rip.
Mate,
And don't tell him to fucking be quiet, because I will for like a second. And then I won't.
one of the most dangerous things you can do is interrupt a bloke in dribble flow state.
It's like don't wake up someone who's sleepwalking
Yep.
because they'll fucking wig out and attack you. Like don't cut off a dribbler when he's in flow
Because that's
state.
when basically most fights happen when a dribbler is in the middle of a yarn and a bloke interrupts him. People think it's defending women and like, you know, jealousy and possessiveness. It's actually dribble being interrupted in pubs
Yeah.
by dogs that don't appreciate the greatness they're witnessing, or even jealousy of the flow state that is in front of them.
That's often, I think, what it is. It's like I want to flow.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just flow. It just
You
has to
can't just
happen.
fucking
pick up dribble and start flowing.
no. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way. You can't just sit down and go, righto, mate, I'm next. It's like, bruh, I don't know who the fuck you are.
I love when you're at the pub with someone maybe you like semi-know or whatever, and they're always trying to one-up you with fucking dribble. And you just
One-upmans are painful.
Yeah.
Like, don't sit down and be like, oh, I fucking did that too. It's like, I find that annoying.
Yes.
It's torture when you're in the middle of something and like you're telling this great yarn, and then someone tries to come over the top and big dick you.
Well, they don't let your yarn have its space. It's like you finish your story and everyone's like, "Holy shit, that was crazy!" And then before you even said like your last word, they're like, "Oh, that's exactly like this other one that I had," and they've just sort of like continued climbing all over the top of it.
Yeah.
It's a disease.
It's honestly, it's one of the most, as a bloke or even a dribblet, it's one of the most disgraceful things you can do at a pub table is one up a bloke unnecessarily. Now it's a fine line though, because
Unless you have one of the great stories all time. But if
Yeah.
you've got like 7 or 8 in one sitting, it's like, okay, bro. These
get
are
it.
all bullshit.
And you're the man, bro. We
Yeah,
get
we
it.
get it.
But yeah, one-upsman it's disgusting, to be honest. And I think pubs should actually have rules against one-upping.
Well, some pubs do.
They do. I've seen that.
Yep.
There's a bouncer who gets around and goes, mate, this cunt's fucking one-upping
Where's a
everyone.
one-up security safety
yeah.
officer?
This
One-up
guy's one-upping
officer.
everyone.
One up officer. Yeah, they exist.
You get dragged out. Yeah,
And he
locked
walks
up.
around
Or
like
cut off.
listening. He's like, excuse
No,
me,
he just
mate.
gives you uppercut, bang, drags
Yeah.
you out.
Are you one-upping your mate for no reason? Get out, mate.
Get out. Can't have it.
But
How'd you get?
Jimmy Maloney. What I like the interesting thing about Jimmy Maloney, like he could say stuff that other people can't say and get away with it. You know those like rogues that can do things like the Cheese, for example. The Cheese does
Shane Warne comes to mind.
Shane Warne, absolutely.
Yes.
But he's more action.
He does whatever he
He
wants.
does whatever he wants. And people just go, oh, Shane.
Oh, you shat on the carb on it. Oh, Shane.
Oh, cheating on your wife. Oh, Shane.
Nude photos leaked. They didn't even rate a mention. Those nude photos were doing the rounds everywhere.
What, recently?
Shane was getting polished and they went around everywhere. And
They were like old photos from like an older romp that he had that I think when he left his windows open in Chelsea in London.
yeah, or
Chelsea,
Paddington in London. He left all his windows open and had a
Threesome.
menage a trois with 3 other women.
I didn't even know these existed. That's how little
And
of a
kept the neighbours up all night.
Yeah,
is
like
the
he
way
got noise
described.
complaints and
like
shit.
6 hours on the job.
And then these photos got released, but you're like, it's Shane's house, so I don't know how the fuck there are fucking photos from the corner of the room. Unless
We like to think that he, and this is all alleged, that he watches himself back.
like game tape.
Yeah, game tape. Like watch film. How can I improve?
And he likes someone filming him. It's like dangerous kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if it seems like he might be filming himself.
No, it's like it's up in the corner.
it's like just in his house.
What the picture is in his house?
Yeah.
So someone's actually been standing there like that.
No,
Well,
no,
or it's like a camera
It
in the
looks
corner
like
of the
it's
room.
up in the corner of the room. That's what we're saying. Like he watches it back to see where he can make improvements.
Holy fuck!
Again, all alleged.
Yeah,
but,
allegedly.
Apparently, it was his house, and he was getting
Well,
getting to work.
Yeah.
How does it get leaked if it's his house?
I don't know. Shane's probably taking screenshots, being like,
Sharing it around.
"Do you want in?
Holy shit!
This is what you're missing out on." I mean, again, Shane does whatever the fuck he wants.
Is he the greatest rogue Australia's ever produced?
He'd go
Like
very
we've got
close.
guys like because like
He pushes the envelope of what is acceptable.
because
Like he never goes too rogue.
No,
I was going to say Ben Cousins went too rogue.
Yeah, well, yeah, Ben's a little sad, unfortunately.
Whereas now it is a bit sad.
Shane's basically exclusively just rote.
and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. It's pretty harmless. He's just chonging everything that moves." So I think we just sort of play on with that.
Yeah.
And he's still taking wickets for the nation.
He's
or was.
Australia's Hugh Hefner without the
that's-
house.
Yeah, that's
But he
fair.
just maintained his form. Like his form never really dipped. He just constantly took wickets for the
Do you
country
think that
while he
like
fucked everything.
a guy like that, his form would have actually dipped if he went on the straight and narrow?
Yeah, probably.
Like the road
100%.
just kept him living and loving
Yeah.
life. Ricky La Vida Loca kind of stuff.
Yes.
Mate, you take the rogue out of that and
No wickets to take.
no wickets are taken. I think he falls into a heap. Ceases to exist. It was sort of his fuel almost. You know what I mean? I think it got him out of the bed in the morning. A good root and a good wicket.
Yeah.
And the two
Almost-
perfectly
Almost
harmonised.
like the only to get through the wickets, it like the carrot at the end of the stick was the root.
That's it. I got to get through, whatever it is, 5 hours out in the field today.
The quicker I get it done,
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean?
Get back
Like, I
to
got to
the-
take 10 wickets today, or I'm playing 6 hours, and I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll get them done by tea.
Yeah.
Or by lunch.
Or we need them all done, otherwise you're back here tomorrow for a full day. It's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll wrap this bitch up today.
So basically, there might have even been the Australian team may have been presenting him with scenarios where he could get the root so that he played better. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure he
Are
had,
you suggesting they line them up for him?
I'm just laying it on the table that there are many possibilities in this situation.
Sure.
I'd go so far as to say that Shane's benefited sexually from the advent of social media more than any other human on earth. Just in that it's become even easier. He had to fucking have numbers saved everywhere, sending faxes and shit. Now it's literally like they're just coming straight to
What was
him.
that story we spun at that live show he did? When he was up all night on a romp, and then he drove all the way down to...
Or was he playing cricket and then he took like a bag and then, he took like 5 wickets or something, won the game. And then
I think it was the other way around. I think he was
Oh.
up all night on the job.
Yeah.
with 2 birds and like bottles of vodka and...
Yeah,
all this
that's
stuff.
right. And then drove like 3 hours to his cricket match. And I think slept for an hour in the car and then went out and took a 5 wicket,
Yeah.
something like that.
Fuck.
Do your own
me.
research. but that was a yarn.
I mean,
we read.
absolutely beautiful. That's true Australian yarn.
Yep.
You know, on the beers, has a snooze, takes 5 wickets, wins the games, gets back on the job.
So James Maloney is not in that realm, but he's a scallywag.
Oh, yeah, he's a scallywag.
He's a fucking scallywag, and he's a scallywag that, in its purest sense, can get away with scallywag behaviour, and people just go, "Oh, Jimmy."
Jimmy.
There's something about a scallywag where it's like you can't really become one. Obviously, you probably got to have good form, or you just like if you just are a scallywag, I think you can get away with being a scallywag. Whereas if you try and be like, and play up to it, you're like,
If you wake up and it's like, "Oh, I'm going to try to be a scallywag today," people are like, "Bro."
trying to be funny, trying to
so
say dumb
un-Australian.
shit. You know, you're just like, nah.
Attempting to be a scallywag is so offensive to the nation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You the it or you're not. You know?
And you just scallywags just are. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're not. You can't create a scallywag mentality around
Well,
yourself.
it's got to be in your DNA.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because people can spot a fraud scallywag a mile away. You can. They reek of desperation.
Yeah.
A fake scallywag is probably the saddest sight in sport. Maybe just in life.
Well, yeah, because
in
it's not
society.
just restricted to sport. You know, even in like class in school, you could see people who try to be a scallywag. And you're like, lame. This real scallywag over here is way funnier.
He's sniffing glue.
Seems to be having a hell of a time doing it.
The worst, the Instagram, women or men, they'd go, "I'm so weird.
Oh,
It's
dude.
like-
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are you self-proclaimed weird?
I'm so weird. You're pulling a weird face. That
Yeah.
doesn't make you weird.
I'm weird and quirky.
Like, fuck me dead.
You're
Like,
actually just scout.
you're
Yeah.
literally just pulling a weird
Are
face.
you the first guy to pull a weird face? No.
No, you're not. You're
I
a
don't
wig
think
out.
so.
You're a scally.
I tell you
wig.
what is weird. Filming yourself with a security camera, having a menage a trois, and then leaking the the pictures 10 years later.
Yeah.
Well,
And he looked good in them. That's why.
looked great.
He looked
Good angles?
Good angles.
Donged up.
Mate,
Donged
cheers.
up.
Was he donged up?
Yeah, he's
He
donged
donged
up.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And like nothing offensively. It's not like he's Tom Trebojevic or
So we're
Shervo.
talking dong, not waffle.
He's not
dongle?
Shervo.
he's not Shervo or Turbo. He's just like, oh,
not
this is
even
a good, healthy Australian dong.
Yeah.
So he's doing
that
the
can
nation
go.
proud.
That'll go all night.
So he's a battler with a good, strong dong.
You get plenty of Ks to the gallon or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever the metric is.
Well, sometimes
Miles to the gallon.
Miles to the gallon off this thing.
Well,
yeah.
it's like footy.
Fuel efficient.
It's like footy. When you've got a bloke that comes through the grades and he's got a huge dong or is incredibly talented, sometimes they don't work on other things that help the dong. Whereas I feel like Shane, with just a solid one, he's worked out ways to get the best mileage out of that good dong.
Yeah, he definitely
Solid.
has.
Yeah. It's a dong's dong.
Yeah, it's a dong's dong. It's a dinky die Aussie dong.
It's a bloke's dong.
Yeah,
Yeah. A dong you can be proud of. Dan.
yeah. You can set your watch to it.
Yeah. A reliable dong. A dong that shows up on time.
A dong
works
of
hard.
size.
I tell you what, he might have been late to a
Doesn't
few.
take sick days.
He might have been late to a few functions, but that dong was never late.
No, the
No.
dong's always there on time.
The dong's never early either. Dong's on time.
Yeah,
Every time.
prompt. It's a prompt.
It's a
dong.
prompt dong. Yeah. 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 Good looking too.
Yeah, handsome.
Classically handsome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing better than a classic dong.
No, it's a classical
Yeah,
handsome.
it's a dong's dong.
You've always said that, haven't you?
I've always said.
Always.
I've always said Shane's got a dong's dong.
Yep. Anyway, that was a James Maloney.
Cheers to the scallywags of this world. Cheers to James Maloney.
Yep, absolutely.
Now on to more serious matters. Andrew Fifita is in an induced coma.
Is he still in?
I think the surgery's been done. I'm not sure whether he's been taken out of the coma. The positive is that I think it's all safely being done. You know what I mean? It's not he's not in the coma due to, like, he's been induced into the coma.
Yep.
But it's still very serious, very serious. So I just wanted to say to Fifita, like, you know, legend of bloke, being on the podcast, a very misunderstood bloke, and matured so much over the years. So sending the best wishes out to him and his family. I hope he recovers because, he's an absolute legend of the bloke. So best wishes, speedy recovery, good old Fifita, big fella. Now, Connor Watson. Reportedly signs with the Roosters on a 2-year deal. Now, Knight's departure has been confirmed by the club. Knights reportedly upped their offer to 3 years after Watson originally said no to their extension, which I think was 2 years and I think was not that big of a deal. Thoughts on, clearly the Knights aren't in doubt because they didn't go hot. What are your thoughts on letting go of a hot boy like that? and breaking up the hot boys.
They've broken up the hot boys there. I mean, it's Connor Watson wins this breakup, right?
Yeah.
Like you go, oh yeah, you dumping me? Oh sweet, well I'm going to get back with my ex who's way hotter than you.
Way hotter, and I'm a fucking good shout at winning a premiership.
Yep.
In my time there. And look, if I rip and tear under a good coach, under a good system, maybe I stay longer, you know what I mean? Maybe I have a fruitful career back at the Roosters. I think, and this is just me going off vibe and vibe alone, I think he brought a fuckload to that side. He could play all over the park. He was tough as an ox. He fucking turned up every time. Like, seemed to have respect amongst the playing group, Denon. And I can't work out for the life of me why they've fucking haven't moved heaven and earth to retain him. Because I look at that, I look around and I'm like,
they're a
it's not
worse
like you're
side without
fucking
him, right?
Who have they got to replace him?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like
That's what I'm saying.
it's bizarre, and also it's the intangibles he brings off the field. He's clearly a loved member of that squad and by the fans. Like don't get me wrong, I knew that the fans loved Connor Watson, but the amount of Knights fans that are devastated, like it's almost similar to the amount of Rabbitohs fans that are devastated about Reynolds. That's how loved he seems to be. Now, obviously, Reynolds is a bigger player or whatever, but like
just the outpouring
of people going like,
But I think that's the point, right?
Yeah.
The outpouring is massive, and he's not an Adam Reynolds.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
It's
which is
100%.
crazy.
Yeah, and again, I'm just not seeing who the replacement is.
And this is, I mean, I don't know how, I know some clubs do it differently, but in terms of like player retention and who they re-sign, like largely it falls on the coach, right? Like,
Yeah, it's not rookie coaches. Like
is he still a rookie, Adam O'Brien?
Who's pulling the
His
strings?
second year.
Is he
Who's
second
pulling
year?
the strings up there then?
Well, I think there'd be a football manager, there'd be a CEO, there'd be a board of like. So with recruitment, there's usually a board of people. Even the Storm, they've got Bellamy, Frank Panisi, I think his name is, and Paul Bunn, and there may be another one. And that's they usually vote, I guess, in a sense. You know what I mean? They all sit down and they'll go, all right, who do we want here? It's not the coach just going.
You don't reckon Bellamy is though? Surely. I mean, I know you're using that as an example, but you don't think Bellamy just goes like it would have the final
I think
say?
so. I think he'd have the final say, but in saying that, I think that there would be cases where Panisi would be able to say, "Look, I just don't think we should," and then Bellamy would say, "Look, I think we should, but we'll go with your." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the big calls, Bellamy would be able to say, "Look, I disagree and I'm strongly standing." It's like anything. It's like even if I run Bloke in a bar, I'm still going to listen to, the partners and everything.
What Matt says.
Not listening to what Matt says ever.
No. Okay. Well,
That's what I thought. That's what you were
I
getting
thought you were
at.
saying
No,
Like there's
Matty,
you listen to
Dennis.
other people.
You have employees and then you have slaves, pretty much. And he's down there. He's changed that desk. You just can't see it in the dark.
No,
really?
he's shown
No,
me.
yeah.
He's shown me his shackles before. They're very nice.
But he actually likes it, the sicko. Good dong
He's
on
into
him.
it.
Good dong on him.
Oh, there you go.
Legend.
Is that right?
Actually, a lot of the punters and the dribblers and the bloke community wouldn't have heard. Obviously we spoke about it on Saturday.
on the live show.
Yeah, on the live show,
stream.
which was Hello
Critically
Sport Live.
acclaimed.
It was great. It was actually a really good guy. So are you going to do it again soon?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't
All right.
spoken about it, but I think
Man,
we'll do it
I
online.
think that we just like
it was good. It was fun.
we'll amalgamate.
We'll do others. Yes.
Yes.
We
Okay,
will do
sweet.
others. That
No.
won't be a one-off.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I think we should do more of that. I do.
sure.
I think it was really good.
People really
good.
liked you on the beanbag.
yeah, people liked you on the beanbag.
I've got some ideas.
dude.
I'll speak about you off the after the show. We can't let the pun and the dribble
No,
know yet.
secret.
Secret. High level stuff. High level
yeah.
stuff. Anyway, so the other day I was just walking in the park as I do. Just enjoying life. The sun, bit of vitamin D. Birds chirping. Life's good. Trying to clear the air. Hey, Kepi, big, bloke in a bar. And I'm, as you know,
Oi, dude. Oi,
man of the
get
people.
off me, man.
I'm like, thanks, bros. Love ya. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm walking. And I see a lovely young couple. Legs intertwined. So if they're sitting, let's say that there's two legs.
Scissoring.
Scissor.
Would you say they're scissoring?
Good old-fashioned scissor.
Yes.
Which is a sign of love, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
I've never scissored anyone I don't love.
That's a fair point. At least intentionally.
Look, you rarely do you scissor your enemies.
That is absolutely true. If you're scissoring enemies, you're a sicko.
Yeah. Keep your friends close, enemies closer, but don't scissor them.
Don't scissor
Is the
your
saying.
enemies.
Well,
I
that's
believe.
usually the longer version
yeah,
of the saying.
Yeah. It's like the second verse of the anthem. It's the
Yeah,
longer version of
well,
the
no
saying.
one knows it. No one knows the second verse of the anthem. No one knows the second verse of that saying.
close,
But that's
closer.
why that's
Don't
look it up.
scissor 'em.
Look it up.
Anyway, so that young couple scissoring, and I saw them from about, I don't know, 60 metres away, and it was so beautiful. It made me reflect on my shortcomings in my relationship. Like, could I be better to my partner? That's
More
how beautiful it was.
scissoring,
Yeah, could I scissor my partner? Maybe. Is that appropriate? Probably not. But anyway, I'm walking. A tear drops down my eyes, and it's Matt, the Waterboy, scissoring a young love, his girlfriend, I thought. So anyway, Matt turns around and his face is bright red. Literally, it looks like he's been painted with red paint, sunburnt. But he was actually so embarrassed, his head nearly exploded.
He's been caught scissoring in the park.
He's been caught scissoring, which is honestly one of the most embarrassing things you can get done is be caught by your boss scissoring in the park.
Yeah, he didn't sign up for that.
He didn't sign up for that.
He didn't sign up for that.
There were many boundaries that were crossed, probably with work health relations.
Yeah. Not your fault, though.
Not my
I think
fault.
you're cool on that one.
We've had a meeting with HR.
Yeah.
And they said, look, you can't really walk in on people scissoring. And I said, I was in the park. He was doing it in the public. They said, well, that's fair play, Matt. That's disgusting. You need to go to the
if
police.
he was scissoring in the office as well, then that'd be his.
Well, we
on
actually
him.
allow scissoring in the office.
Oh, that's nice.
we want to be close here.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so I said, hey, mate, how you going? Rah, I kept walking. He was embarrassed. And I went home and I said to the missus, first I said, I love you, babe. You know, I can be better.
Yeah.
But then I said, Matty the Waterboy was down with his missus scissoring. And she said, wow, that's crazy. Scissoring? That's fucking crazy. And then she also said, oh, the one that's, I thought they weren't together, like they hadn't seen each other because his girlfriend is locked down in another state. And I said, oh, yeah, it was one of his side chicks, his new chicks. And I joked about it. And then we find out, Matty the Waterboy, he's got a new girlfriend in about a week after breaking up with his old one.
So you just moving straight on.
No, let me clarify.
You are a rat bag.
It is the same girl. She just came back. She finally got back. So it was
she
her.
just come back
You
from
were there
Melbourne?
when he said it wasn't the same girl, correct?
Yeah, look, I remember saying, "Fuck, have we put you in the
Have we put
shitty?"
you-
No, you said, was it a new girl? And she is fairly new.
Right.
But
How
not
is she
that
new?
Not
that
that
wasn't the story that was told on the live stream.
Wow. There's a lot of grey area here that I'm not getting.
Well, there's now more questions than answers.
Is it you're trying to say like she's new because you broke up with her and now you're back together? It's like a new girlfriend?
No. We only got together just before she fucked off out
So
of state.
how many months have you been together?
A couple?
Wow, he doesn't even know.
No, he's playing it very cool.
This is weird.
This was meant to be a clandestine scissoring in the park, and you've been caught out, and now you're chasing your tail trying to cover your tracks. And I'm not
Wow.
comfortable with it.
You look like a guilty man.
You
Are
look
you-
red even in the dark. I can see it.
Was this a scissoring gone wrong?
No, she's not my enemy. It was a fair scissoring.
It was a good, honest scissoring, apparently.
Okay.
So
Would you say you scissor with the best of them?
Well, how's the bloke on your left?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Hey,
That was
look.
his technique.
What was he like? Would you give him out of 10?
room for improvement.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I tell you what,
What sort of advice would you give a young scissorer on the rise?
a young scissor on the rise. I think eye contact's important.
Yeah.
That's very important. I think the pressure of the scissor is also important because you don't want to be too aggressive,
No.
especially when you've pretty much just met that day, as we found out. He met some chick in the park and he started scissoring her.
Scissoring
And he said
off the bat.
she's new, but now she's not new. He's been with her for fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
Very strange. But also I think it's really important that the conversation is good because there's nothing more awkward than being mid-scissor and not having a good conversation.
A silent scissoring is almost torture. That is when it's enemy situation.
That is
You're in
bizarre.
enemy territory if you're doing a silent scissoring. It's a fucking standoff.
A scissor off.
A scissor off.
You don't want to get into a scissor.
No, you don't.
Nah, you need good conversation for a scissoring.
And good hips.
That's also true. If you need to probably get limber hips, think about yoga, stretching.
You just don't want to get into a scissor off because that's when weird shit happens.
Yeah, that's real weird.
But Matt, you're a fucking sicko, and we are no closer to the truth.
No.
And you've just put you've just muddied the waters. So punters and dribblers in the bloke community, we will get to the bottom of this. Matt is clearly a sicko with many girls on the run. Because the story changes every single day. Anyway, back to the footy chat. You know who would be
Connor Watson, yes.
well, you know who a man that I think would be good at scissoring is Connor Watson.
I'd agree with I'd go down that line as well.
I'd give him a scissoring.
He could scissor with the best of them, as we were just talking about, elite scissoring.
Yeah. Well, we've been sent some stories that aren't going to be repeated now. He's
he
much
won't.
loved.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, I've been told
He's
much
loved by the
too.
people. That's all I'll say.
He's big in the scissoring community.
He's massive in the scissoring community, and people flock to him for a good scissoring.
So do you think the Roosters may have signed him partly due to his scissoring ability?
Without a doubt, Dano.
100%.
Because like Eastern Suburbs, maybe they've been lacking a bit of scissoring.
Well, certainly to anyone of Connor's prowess,
Yeah.
you need someone who can scissor and scissor well and at the drop of a hat.
Probably help on the footy field as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get tangled up and you're trying to get a quick play the ball, and a good, powerful scissor in that situation is only going to help.
Well, look what Tyson Frizzell and Mulatalo, they got caught in a good old-fashioned scissoring.
That was a
on the
good old
weekend.
scissor off as well. That was nice.
That's right.
And I mean, there's I just hope the NRL doesn't try and outlaw the scissor like they have with the chicken wing and everything else.
And the
It's like-
crusher.
and the crusher.
I mean, leave the scissor
Leave
alone.
the scissor,
Mate,
please.
Honestly, if they do that, the game's dead. to
The
me.
game's done.
If I can't have a beer, a bloke in a bar beer, watch a footy, and watch a couple blokes scissor,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking be a part
Scissor
of it.
for ascendancy on the field.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Two grown men trying to get it over each other via a scissor. But Connor's he's a great proponent of it. He's terrific. I think that the Roosters have made a hell of a signing.
Oh, what's
A hell of a signing.
It's going to sound insane. Not insane because, but I actually think that he's still got the potential to play Origin. Like I
said that.
You know what I mean? Like
today.
I'm not
You did.
saying
I'll
like
back him up.
their bench is so fucking stacked, like so stacked. But what you can't tell me that Watson doesn't have the potential to put himself in that 14 role one day.
Definitely.
And going to the Roosters adds that. And then you've got you look at their back row: Satilli, Angus Crichton, the great Victor Radley, and then you've got Connor Watson as well coming in to help. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's
Kind
pretty
of like,
sharp.
Is he kind of like a new Orbo in that sense? Like,
He will be an Orbo to them
Yeah.
because he'll cover everywhere. And so I think it's a fantastic signing. And you're right, that's such a good example, Tom. You've done fantastic there.
thank you so much.
Footy-wise, he is going to cover Orbo because right now they don't really have that. Like Victor Radley isn't the same as Orbo in the sense that Victor Radley is quite a specialist 13.
Yeah.
Not to say that Orbison couldn't, but Orbison's specialty was his ability to just fucking play everywhere and play really well. And it's kind of similar kind of Watson. It's like, where does he fit?
Yeah.
Well, he actually fits everywhere pretty well. So that's a great comparison. I'd probably say Orbo is better looking, but Watson has him in the scissors.
Massive.
Oh, listen. I mean,
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree.
yeah, men have been scissored to death for less than that, Dan, and you be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Jesus
I just
Christ.
think that Orbinson's personality brings him up into a stratosphere that many people don't
Look,
really
well,
feel
I
or
don't
see.
know Orbo personally. I have met Connor once outside of this establishment, so I'm going to have to go with the Scissor King in Connor Watson. I'd be angry at myself if I didn't. You know what I mean?
Do you think him and Kalen have a good long scissor before they leave each other?
One final scissor. I think so.
You'd bloody hope so. And it
While
better be
they
on
cry.
Better be on the podcast.
Well, I was going to say 257 collective
If the final episode isn't just them scissoring each other,
with microphones.
With Time of Your
talking to-
Life
Yeah.
from Green Day
So
playing.
they're scissors like that,
Yeah.
and they're just talking into each other's eyes.
I think that's beautiful.
That'd be nice.
We need more of that in
And
rugby
then
league.
Matt's big head is in between them like
Yeah.
that. So the camera's there, they're scissored, and Matt's just right in between like that.
Yeah.
And their faces are like this close.
It's just one real tight shot of the three of them. Two scissored, obviously looking at each other, and then Matt in the middle.
And then you got Warnie's angle from up the corner.
Then you got the Warnie angle, and they're all nude. You
Love
don't have
it.
to be nude, but it's an option.
It's
I tell you what, it'd be beautiful. It was nude.
It'd be nice.
It's the send off Connor deserves, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like, do you really think he deserves a fully clothed Kalen scissoring him?
no.
No.
I
But
think he
Kayla, I mean,
Yeah, he'll deliver.
no, Kalen did the wrong thing. If you're Kalen Ponga though, and you're one of your best mate,
Yep.
who you live with, now going to the Roosters, going to
you
go
what.
chase that premiership glory, and you're left at a club who let him go for no real reason, it would seem. Do you start to say to yourself,
They're trying to re-sign him as well, aren't they, Kalen?
I mean, they're always trying to resign
I know,
him.
but he's still he doesn't have many years left.
I totally agree with you. I think that it sounds...
he's not 19 anymore either?
No.
You know what I mean? Kalen.
No.
It's like,
And
okay,
you want to win comps, dude.
well,
Or
I
play
think
for the
that's
All
something
Blacks.
like, surely that's something that going through his fucking head, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Can I win a comp here?
Absolutely. And also, like, when you add...
Might be
But,
time to
like,
be honest.
His best mate being there is a huge factor in probably keeping him there. Like, it's your best mate.
Also, though, like, truthfully, like, although obviously their main employment is rugby league, right? Like, that's their main thing. But obviously they do have shit like the podcast outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. You do it by Zoom and all that sort of shit. But that still is a fucking ball ache.
Oh, 100%. It won't be the same.
No.
Won't be the same. And so you've got, from Kalen's perspective, he's the captain, or was the captain. So he's going to be the captain. You'd assume that he fought to keep Watson there. You'd assume that if the Knights see Kalen as the future captain, they would have discussed with him, or they are in discussions with who they're re-signing and signing. So maybe it helps a lot. Maybe it doesn't help at all. But maybe it doesn't hurt that much. But it definitely can't help in re-signing Ponga. You know what I mean? Like, when he's sitting there weighing everything up, and he's like, "Well, my best mate's not here. You know, we're a few ways away from. You know, if we are to win a premiership, it's at least 3 to 4 years away. Fuck, maybe I go and sign with the All Blacks or whoever. Or even Brisbane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
If you want to win a prem,
Bulldogs, they need some outside backs.
No, but like, okay, when you think about it, like Brisbane, they get Reynolds, Kalen, they could probably put together enough money to get,
but not Joey Manu.
Well, it's Kalen Ponga. Like, you'd be willing to go
so you don't
deeper.
Think Joey Manu's?
I don't think he's worth $1 million. No.
Disrespectful.
Is that disrespectful? I think he's I think he's worth about $800K. Joey Manu, and also depends where you play him. If you play him, you can't pay a centre $800K unless he's Latrell Mitchell. Now,
Brad Parker,
obviously,
or Morgan Harper,
or Katoni Staggs,
or Moses Sully.
But in saying that, Joey Manu, I think he's worth $800K, but I could understand if a club paid $1 million for him.
Yeah.
If the Tigers wanted to pay $1 million to get him, or something along those lines.
And this might hurt, and I don't mean for it to hurt truthfully, but aren't you kind of a Tigers-ish club now?
I don't think.
And that you need to be paying overs for players?
Not the same spot as, because we've recruited well.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. What you're saying. Like, before the recruitments, absolutely. Like, fucking oath. But I do believe that Reynolds and Capewell, with Staggs not injured and Haas developing, I just don't think we're in the same position as the Tigers, because we're the youngest team in the comp.
Haas is a fucking
beast,
freak.
Yeah.
That try he saved and tackle he did on Tedesco.
Crazy. I think he's on the pathway to be the best front row of all time.
Yeah.
I know he's not there yet.
No,
not even close to there.
But his ceiling could
be. Like, Glenn Lazarus is going to be hard to beat, because every club he went to won a premiership, which is incredible.
But like, what Haas can do is beyond anything a front rower has ever been able to do.
I believe so.
Already, though. Like, you're kind of seeing what he's doing.
So mobile, bro.
It's crazy.
He ran down fucking Tedesco.
It's insanity. It's insanity. He's so incredible. The only the only negative in his game, and this is just fucking basics, physics really, or whatever you would say, but is sometimes he can get a bit tired in defence and laterally he struggles. But he's massive. Like, of course, like, that's going to happen. He's not going to be the perfect player. Outside of that, I believe on his day, he's the best front rower. Like, as you said, I don't think there's ever been a front rower that has put up numbers, done the things that he's done.
Yeah.
Now, you've also got to weigh, what does he bring to a club? Payne Haas has played incredibly, and he's, as we just discussed, could be the best front row of all time. But the Broncos are still at the bottom of the table. So, whereas Glenn Lazarus came to a better club, like way, in a much better position. But he did, first year he went to these clubs, win the premiership. And so I guess the tough thing for Haas that he'll have to decide is, if the Broncos continue to go the way they are and he wants to build his legacy, he won't be able to stay at the Broncos. He'll have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think a 10-year deal is smart for Haas.
No.
10 years, I don't think it's smart for anyone.
It's just
too long.
No, I can understand why the Bronx...
makes you relax probably a little bit.
Look, if the Bronx are saying 10 years, but here's all of these, if you're injured or you don't play this X amount of games, and they put all these clauses in, I can understand from a Broncos perspective. But from Haas's perspective, you are the best front rower in the comp pretty much. Like Fisher Harris, but pretty much.
What Haas can do, no other front rower can do.
So don't limit yourself to what you could potentially do. Like, there may be a time, let's say Broncos continue to stay where they are, there may be a time where Storm get $1 million free and go, or they get $800K free.
Yeah.
And they just go, we can basically guarantee you 2 premierships in your career.
Yeah.
So why would you, if you're Haas, why would you limit yourself to being stuck at a club that continually struggles? If that happened, now obviously, his legacy will be even crazier if he can be part of the Broncos' rebirth. Like if he can take the club from where they were to a premiership, then the legacy for him is like unbelievable. But I just think if you're Haas, you leave your options open.
Yeah.
But also, as a front rower, you still need good halves, I guess, as an example,
Absolutely.
for anything to happen. So it's like, over that 10-year stretch, if you want to have success, you're basically hoping, praying that you get fucking elite halves the entire time. Otherwise, you're fucked. You can't win
totally.
it.
When you talk about like the Broncos could put clauses in there, like if you're injured or this, that, like I imagine in a 10-year deal, if you're the player and you are aware of all of these fucking clauses in there, that'd almost do my head in a little bit more. Like you'd be worried about. It's not really as guaranteed as it may feel.
Yeah, well, that's just a part of the negotiation. Like how much you can not have clauses in there, really.
Yeah, right.
But I know what you mean. Like, if you're a player and you're like, well, the fourth year, for example, the fourth year is in the club's favour. It's like, well, what the fuck's the point of the fourth year? It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I think when
why even put it in?
Yeah, it just doesn't exist.
Take it out, mate.
Whereas, like, like a lot of people saying, for example, Reynolds, oh, well, they offered him 2 years and the second one was in the club's favour. It's like, it doesn't exist. It's not like you're basically playing for a 1-year contract. Matter of fact, it hurts you because what if you kill it and you can get a bigger contract in that next year?
Then they go, we'll sign you.
Yeah, they go, well, we just activate your clause. You can't go any higher than that.
And they're activating.
Because if you play like shit, they're not going to re-sign you
Exactly.
anyway.
So it's just
point.
And they would react. They would, if a club were to activate the second year or whatever, it would be on the exact same money you're on, no matter how well you did, right? Like they're not going to be like, we'll pay you more.
Well, they're not going to just say, oh, we're going to activate this clause plus we're going to put 200K on it. So it's a bit of a weird, it's a weird thing. I don't know. You don't really see them that often anymore in the club's favour because it's like it's literally it does nothing. Like it really is pointless. But yeah, so Connor Watson to the Roosters, fantastic. Moses Mbye. To the Dragons, 2-year deal. Had a year left to run on his
DMC to DMC.
Yeah, this is interesting. It all depends on how much the Dragons got him for. I think it would be for a massively discounted rate.
You'd have to think.
He's on 9, wasn't he?
800, I think.
800?
That is such good cash.
But when he signed, though, I think he was playing good, solid footy when he signed.
I always feel a bit sorry for Josh Reynolds, Moses Mbye, even Russell Packer. Like when they talk about the Tigers and Ivan Cleary's rebuild, and they're like, oh, he signed all these fucking players. I was like, they were actually pretty good when he signed them.
But also,
and Reynolds was unlucky with injury.
It's just an easy out for fans because. Yeah. When Ivan signed them, they were 1 win from finals footy. So something was clearly working.
Yeah.
Whereas they
you also weren't complaining then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Something was working. They had to beat the Sharks, I think, to play finals footy, and they lost by
I remember that game.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, hang on a sec. Those signings at the time were actually good. Now Madge has taken over, and whether you agree or disagree with Madge's what he does. At the end of the day, they've gone backwards. Like there's no denying that. Now you could argue they need to blow everything up to rebuild, which is fair enough. That may definitely be true, but it's an easy out to say, the signing of Mbye, Reynolds, and Packer is the problem when Maguire had the same roster and they went backwards.
Yeah.
So the Tigers. Coaching staff and admin have to take some responsibility because when those signings did happen, they were a non-finals footy team that was 1 win away from a top 8 finish. So, I understand the argument that the next few years they played poorly, and you've got to ask yourself who's played good. Who has played good at the Tigers? So, is it just the players' fault, or is it a mixture of the coaching staff and the players' fault?
Yeah.
Because it's not like just Reynolds and just Mbye and just Packer played poorly. Everyone's formed slumps.
Yeah.
So look, it just depends how you can't experience is so important. So if they get him at a good deal, it's at a lower a cut rate price, good deal.
Yeah. And what would he be? A 14 off the bench as well?
Yeah. He can cover a lot of positions for them. You can cover McCulloch if he gets tied at number 9. He can cover 4. He's a good utility.
Yeah.
So good luck to Moses Mbye. Also a fantastic bloke. Actually a legend of a bloke. That's another thing when you see, again, they get paid a lot, so understandably they get a lot of attention. But when you see them getting torn down, you're like, fuck, if only people actually shook hands with him and spoke to him, you'd be like, you wouldn't be as easily, I guess, speak so negatively about them if you knew them as a bloke, because he's a great
Yeah,
bloke.
but people rarely negative in someone's face, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So much easier to just talk shit
Absolutely.
behind a keyboard.
Now, the great Brad Fittler has slammed NRL transfer system. Says he's like mid-year swaps but hates signing contracts a year out. He believes Matt Burton has doubled in value since he signed with the Dogs and has undercut himself. Thoughts?
I, without any right to do so, disagree with Brad Fittler.
Yeah?
Well, I feel like a mid-year swap is almost scatter if you're seeing a player from your team switching mid-year. Like, Burton signing a year before to go, it's not the club's fault that he's doubled in value and played. They're signing him on potential when they first sign him.
Yeah,
and then he's delivered on it.
but Matt Burton has signed because he wants to shore up his own future, right?
And at the stage when he signed, he wasn't even fucking starting at the Panthers. It was, who was it? Crichton and the dude with the sort of Eastern European last name, Sazowski. It's not it. Momorovsky. Forgive me, Paul.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, he wasn't even starting with the Panthers when they were going after him.
Mate, look, it's you can't make that argument. You can't go, oh, fucking Matt Burton shot himself in the foot. It's like...
It could go the other way.
It could go the other way. The Bulldogs could sign him. He could turn to shit. They're taking a punt on him because they think he's going to be legit, and he's turned out to be legit. Good on him. And Matt Burton secured himself his future on the money that he thought was reasonable at the time.
It also probably allows shit clubs to get good players. Where, if Matt Burton's now playing the way that he is, that other clubs are all coming in maybe and hunting for him and offering him bigger dick money. Whereas the Bulldogs have got, what did he sign for? Wasn't like it was shit.
I think it was
money.
like $500K.
I mean,
again, reportedly.
Yeah, but let's say it's $500K. That's good money for Matt, who is young, and he's getting and it's like a 3-year deal. It's not like he's signing for the rest of his life. Yeah, sure, he's going to a club that's 98% backs and probably won't win many games, but it's hardly like he's lost out.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I get Brad Fittler's point. In the sense of yes, it is a bit weird that you can sign a year, out and then play a whole year for that club. I understand that to an extent, but in saying that, the Bulldogs have done a good job. They got a bargain.
Yeah,
maybe he might turn to shit. We just don't know yet. But in saying that, how can you expect the lower clubs to progress and catch up to the bigger clubs if they don't have opportunities to make really good deals like this?
Yeah.
This is one of the only ways lower clubs can really... For example, if he kept playing the way he's playing, there's no way the Bulldogs would have been able to sign him.
So is he... I'm just trying to read this. Is he suggesting that you can only sign a contract with a new club 6 months out?
I guess so, yeah, about 6 months out.
So I don't mind getting it done in the off season, a season before, so it's not talked about during the season.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
There's I don't know. I've never really subscribed to the whole it's bad for the game that he's going to another club. It's like, this is rugby league, baby.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking moving around.
It's a professional era. If you're still crapping on about that amateur shit where no one fucking changed sides because they were loyal, it's like, bro.
Bloody Corey Horsburgh was playing for the Dogs.
Shit, don't bring
no.
that up again.
Corey Horsburgh's old man was wearing a Raiders t-shirt at his son's Bulldogs game.
That's modern rugby league.
That's rugby league.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's... If that's the system that works down here in Australia, there's not a shitload of coin. It's not like in Europe where you have to sign a fucking transfer fee and it's millions and millions and millions. That sort of money doesn't exist down here. So if you can get your ducks in a line a year out, and then also you've got to try and comply with the salary cap, which I would imagine is a bit of a fucking nightmare.
Well, that's another thing. So
maybe you need a bit of time to get that sort of sorted.
Yeah, that would be another thing, is managing your cap. With only I guess every team is in the same boat. I think that I understand what Fittler is saying, but I think the example he used I don't agree with. Not at all. And I agree with you guys. I've never really. It's great to have local juniors playing. I guess it promotes local loyalty to their club. But I think that ship has sailed quite a while ago. The local. Again, it's great that Penrith have some local Penrith juniors, but in the professional era,
It's not really.
It's not really a thing. You know, look at Melbourne. Like,
Yeah.
that they don't have any local players, but you know.
Well, it's basically a Queensland club.
Yeah.
Who's fucking play their footy in Melbourne, right?
Yeah. So it's I do think the NRL. What I do think with the NRL transfer system is they need to like package it up better for consumption from the fans.
100%. They're missing a massive trick there. Like we joke, like it is true though. They've got the off season where they're in the fucking papers day in, day out, but it's usually scandal related. Like, I don't think the NRL want that to be their off-season product, right? So the fact that they haven't got a off-season product of sorts is bizarre.
Yeah.
Transfer window still happening a year out is still an interesting thing where it's like, and that's what I think we sort of even just briefly touched on it last week. I get interested in the AFL when they have their transfer window because it's like fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Of like this going here, who's going here, they're trading this and that, and you're like, holy shit.
Well, they've packaged it well to be consumed by the fans, and I just think they're leaving millions on the table. You know, if you have a trade window or a trade time and you package it really well together, the amount of sponsors that get on board, the extra content, like there's so much money that can be made. And as you said, in the off season, keeping everyone engaged in the product. It's
strange that they don't take a lead off the rest of the world and from, you know, AFL, which is, you know, like it or lump it, massive in Australia. And they do this weird sort of way they do it with transfers. It's odd.
There's got to be a reason. Surely they've looked into, like, I don't know, maybe
it's very different.
Is weird, and you know, like I've heard the argument that if you, I guess, have a draft or a trade window. Now, obviously, draft and trade window is not the same thing, but you can disincentivize people to develop juniors. Then, you know, if for example a draft, if you do that, this is the argument that I've heard. It stops clubs from going, all right, well, I'm going to develop my own juniors and try and bring them through because they just get taken by the team that fucking come last.
You could have concessions around that, surely.
You
get like 2 juniors a year that sit outside the, like genuine juniors that you fucking carried the whole way through, or one at least, you know.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't know. I don't know the details of how you get around it. It's just an argument that I've heard from people saying that it hurts the development of the juniors or whatever. But I just think that they've got to package it up and make it entertaining because, like, how often do you talk? Like, it's a huge part of footy yarn is like, oh, he's going there, or is he going to sign there? Is he not going to sign there?
Yeah.
You package it up and make it entertaining. Like, for example, tomorrow, we'll release it on Thursday, we're going to do a deep, long dive into everyone's transfers for next year.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and it's going to be like me, Finchy, and Rugby League Guru. So make sure to tune in. That'll be released on Thursday. But yeah, it's going to be like an hour or 2 long show of like the full list in front of us, estimated value, estimated amount of games that they've all played, the squad experience, like a full deep dive.
That's sick. Because I'm always like, find myself trying to find out who the fuck is going where, who's re-signed, whose contract's up, you know what I mean? All
how
that
long's
shit.
the contract?
How long are the contracts? Who the fuck do we need to re-sign, you know? All that sort of shit.
And so it's and the good thing about trade content is, like, even though it's not good for the players, it's getting, you know, fake news being spread about them. You can just say, oh, I think this would be a good signing for such and such. And then before you know it, it's snowballed into X-player is going somewhere, and that's just fucking free content. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just more content to talk about footy.
Mate, the European economy exists because of it. Like, their off seasons are fucking just all rumour and innuendo the whole time.
Love it.
And 90% of it's complete bullshit. But they love it.
Which should be good for rugby league media.
We'd love
also,
it.
That's all that we live on a healthy diet of bullshit in the rugby league media.
Could you imagine if
the NRL, the rugby league journos, dude? They would be
frothing,
literally dribbling all over themselves.
One story was the Eels may be interested in Brad Fittler.
I saw that
as a coach, and I was like, "Yous are just saying shit now." Like, why would Brad Fittler leave New South Wales coach when he's on the run of being one of the greatest New South Wales coaches? And also, like, and it all stemmed from the article. The kickoff was because when asked a few months ago, would you like to coach NRL again? Brad Fittler said, oh, yeah, I'd like to coach NRL. I'll give it a crack or whatever. And so now there's the whole segment was about Eels going after Fittler, and it may happen. It's a name that's been brought up. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, bruh, have you seen what fucking job I've got?
Yeah.
I've got like the best job in rugby
the players
league.
I get to coach.
Yeah.
Look at my side.
Yeah.
Look at the glory that awaits me. Are you serious?
And that
Let's go to the Eels.
And fucking never win a comp.
Fucking hell. And die a slow, painful death.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
What was interesting, and I picked it up on the weekend, so a good example of agendas, because like what some people, I mean, a lot of people know that like certain like journalists or whatever, they say certain things to push certain agendas or stick up for their mate or whatever, and I guess we're all guilty of it. But what I thought was really interesting is all of a sudden there's all this pressure on Brad Arthur, like he can't coach, he can't win a grand final, he can't win a premiership, especially on 360 about this pressure. They may not have said he can't coach or he can't win a premiership, but the pressure was basically, you know, Brad Arthur's job is under the pump. And I thought, what's really weird is Maguire and Stewart early this year, who are going way worse than the Eels. The whole narrative from especially Fox was the players need to harden up. The fault is on the players. They need to toughen up and go work hard and stop letting their coach down. Brad Arthur is he's sitting sixth now, but he's been fourth for 3 years in a row. But the pressure's on Arthur, and it isn't about the players need to toughen up. And I just thought it's such a good example of the same situations happening, actually much worse at the Tigers and the Raiders, and yet the journos are saying two different things. One thing they're saying the players need to harden up and just get to work and be professional, and another one they're not putting any blame on the players. And I just thought it was really interesting the different standards that they have between the same situation.
Do you, with the Eels situation though, because I think we may have even spoken about it on Saturday night when we were watching the Oomphless Eels get fucking towed up.
I believe we did, Tom. Yeah.
But like, obviously what Brad has done, getting them from when I think we said when he came in, they were off the back of 2 wooden spoons. They're now at fourth. They've been fourth for 3 years. And many people, at the start of every year, they sort of look at them as like the Eels maybe have the squad to do it this year. They've got a good team. At what point does fourth not become good enough when the goal is to win comps? Like obviously getting better than Spoon, but like,
and they've got that squad.
Yeah, and they've got a good squad.
Their team's fucking good.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got a good team.
Well, okay, they're saying that now, but at the start of the year, Mitchell Moses was not a big game player.
But see, I feel like at the start of the year, they talk about the Eels being like when everyone's giving their predictions. I reckon the Eels could go close this year. They're my smoky, and then it's like when they shit the bed again, you know, before or during finals, then it's like, well, they're just lacking that big game fucking player, and you're like, well, maybe they are, but like, surely that has to come into call into question like the coaching staff or like the people who go about recruiting. But then also, like, if you've got a pretty fucking hot squad and you can't get it done, which is the ultimate goal, at some point, doesn't the coach come under the spotlight?
The whole thing comes under the squad. Like the squad, like why not the squad?
Well, I think the squad as well. I certainly don't think the squad are beyond reproach, but I just think like I could understand why people would be like, well, fuck, love Brad Arthur, seems like a good dude, but like he's not getting it done.
What do you mean? Like he's top 4 3 years in a row?
Well,
like
that's what I mean. Like
so you remember the Michael Pride stat on About Even, greatest betting show of all time? How he said like, sorry, what did you say?
I said thank you so much.
Sorry.
No.
You know, he said like clubs with low turnover have the most success.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like all you have to do is look at the Broncos, look at the Bulldogs when they got rid of Desi Hasler, even the Dragons to an extent, they got rid of Mary last year, and they're actually in pretty much the same fucking spot they were this year. And that's I actually think Hook, has done a good job. Who are you replacing Brad Arthur with?
That is a fair question.
You know, who is going to come in outside of the big dogs like Des Hasler, Robinson, Craig Bellamy or Bennett? Who out of anyone has shown any evidence to be better than what Arthur has been?
Yeah, there's not exactly a better option on the table.
But like, so back to your point, it's fucking ridiculous the way they framed the Ricky Stewart thing. It's like, bruh, if you go from some people's fucking smoky to win the comp, you're in the grand final a couple of years ago, preliminary last year, to one of the worst seasons on record, like, you need to be held accountable to that.
Yeah.
But also to Tom's point, I'm like, you can't come fucking fourth forever and that be acceptable when if you are in that top 4 consistently and you've got a good fucking roster, which they do, results, i.e. grand finals, need to come into the equation at some point.
Yeah,
like,
no, totally.
Fuck, as a Manly fan, if we're not winning the fucking comp, I'm not that impressed.
But
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it was an all right season, but we didn't fucking win.
Oh no, totally. But there's a massive gap between coming fourth all the time and sacking your head coach. There's so much that can be changed in between there.
No. I'm not saying sack him. I'm saying, but you can understand where the yarns come from. Like you're not just going to sit there and go, oh, he's doing a good job.
No, but the yarn hasn't been. You know, these are the changes that need to be made. The yarn is he may get sacked. Like there's some people saying if they fade out for the rest of the year, he won't have his job.
But is that rugby league journo hyperbole? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
like behind closed doors.
Put it this way: after their result, you go to their Instagram. After their result on the weekend, just Arthur should be sacked, like predominantly by the fans. So regardless of whether it's hyperbole or whatever, the general masses, there's a sentiment growing that he should genuinely be sacked, even though he's in the top 6 and
there's no one to replace him.
And there's no one to replace him
except maybe Wayne.
Well, but Wayne's going to Brisbane. He'll probably be the new Brisbane coach, I reckon. If their new club comes in.
Snakes.
Where's Wayne next year?
Nowhere.
Well, but that's the thing. So
surely they're not getting a fucking a 19th 17th side off the ground for next season.
No, not next season. But he'll probably be a director somewhere.
Oh, he'll just cruise.
Cruise through. But what is really interesting is Sterlo has quit his job at 9.
Yes.
And so I think that he's done that because they're bringing him in to not coach, but like
Phil
Ben
Gouldish
Eichen, Phil Gould kind of thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it worked for Phil, it's working for Ben, at least on the face of it. Why wouldn't it work for Sterlo? You know, he's got a fucking
massive footy brain,
and he'd have a shitload of influence.
Look at Gus Gould. His 10-year plan his 5-year plan took about 8-9 years.
But it did work.
It absolutely worked,
hasn't worked yet.
It's worked enough.
It's worked enough.
Yeah. But it hasn't worked yet, if you know what I mean. Like the plan was win a comp. They haven't won one yet. I'm just, I hate to be a stickler.
No, look, I mean, the rules are rules.
Well, they're in a very extremely strong position.
Hate to be a stickler. Hate to be a stickler.
It's still a plan technically because nothing's happened.
And so I think that everything up until this point has been done really well. Now it's about making changes, specific changes around like the roster, like minor changes, recruitment. For example, they went after Katoni Staggs. That was a smart person to try to get. Now it's about taking that next step, kind of like the Panthers. They got to that 4th position. A lot of people bring up the Panthers and they came 4th and they sacked their coach and now look how good they're going. I think that's a little bit different because if Nathan Cleary wasn't at the club, there's no way they would have re-signed Ivan Cleary. Do you know what I mean? Like if they wouldn't have gone back out to get Ivan Cleary if Nathan Cleary wasn't at the Panthers. It was more, I think it had a lot to do with their connection and what they could do together. Yeah.
And keeping Nathan happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's clearly a smart decision. Plus, on top of that, Ivan Cleary had a lot to do with the development of all those players as well. So bringing him back, it's not the like for like. Whereas, it'd be like sacking Brad Arthur and then bringing Brad Arthur back after another coach keeps him in the top 4 kind of thing. So I just think that I would be surprised if you don't see Sterlo there as like a head of football soon. I think they need to go into the market for a strike outside back. I think that they should consider playing Dylan Brown at centre like a Matt Burton. I think that Dylan Brown would actually do similar things that Matt Burton's done in the centres. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. I think he'd be a really good centre. And he's a good ball player, so he can get his wingers the ball.
5'8"?
Gutho. Or you go into the market for a 5'8".
Could Dylan go fullback?
You could put Dylan at fullback, but I just think that if you're going to have a fullback that I think Dylan would suit centre position more. I just don't know how we would go with the K's at fullback, whereas Gutho gets through a mountain of work. So I believe that you go Gutho at 6, Dylan at centre, go in the market for a fullback. You chase up Utoikamanu. You try to get him for the 700-800K, 900K. If they have the money in the cap, I'm not sure.
Gutho obviously looking to re-sign him, I believe. What do you reckon he's worth?
I reckon Gutho's worth about 800.
Yeah.
I reckon 800 is fair. And I think Gutho would probably take 800 to keep other players. Gutho's a captain. He'd be aware that, it's what's so frustrating I spoke about on the podcast earlier this week is that, of course, what he wants or doesn't want shouldn't be in the public sphere.
Is that a fuck up from the Eels?
Well, I don't know who leaked it, but the fact that it always gets leaked around his contract time, it's either him. If it's his manager, he should fucking sack his manager. Well, not sack him, but he should be having a stern talking to.
Yeah.
Because that's not good for the club. But I don't think it was his manager. I think it was the club doing it to put pressure on him. Again, no evidence to suggest
That's
that.
such a dumb thing to do, it would seem, with like...
Well, but it forces him to just fully back away from that figure. Like Gutho, to just like... He basically can't take it now. Because if he does, then everyone blows up and says, oh, you're greedy, you're this, that. You know what I mean?
So he can't take $1 million now because they leaked that he was wanting $1 million?
Because now he's positioned as greedy. You know what I mean? So he doesn't care about the rest of the team. Whereas if he just if they did it privately, no one would know what he's on. They wouldn't know he's on $1 million or whatever. Whereas if it was found out that, and they would leak it, he basically just can't even ask for the $1 million.
Wouldn't that sour your fucking relationship with the club and go like, well, all right.
But he loves the club. The club's more than just the people that make those decisions.
Yeah.
It's frustrating though because like whether he wants $1 million or doesn't want $1 million, of course he's going to ask for as much as possible. You know, like
why wouldn't his manager ask for $1 million?
Yeah,
like you would start there.
You start
surely,
there, and then you'd go down. You look at the Melbourne Storm, Finucane and the Storm. They actually disagreed on how much he should get. So much so, he's not at the club anymore. We didn't hear one peep about what he was asking from the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah,
that's how you see a good club, and he's the captain as well. That's called like mutual respect. That's treating both parties with respect. And it's why they're so good. And as Cooper Cronk said, good clubs this shit doesn't happen. So hopefully it all sorts out at the Eels. I thought it was interesting too. Stefano from the Tigers basically came out and said, you know, watching Dale Finucane at Origin camp really made me realise how professional I got to be. And I was like, fuck, it's so ironic that the Tigers pretty much botched the Dale Finucane contract, and yet you're already seeing the results of the off-field intangibles that Finucane brings. Stefano's played the best footy of his career the last few weeks since he got back from Origin. And it's just proof of how much Dale Finucane can bring on and off the field that they missed out on by botching that signing. Anyway, on to the previews. Titans v the Storm. Pappenhuis at fullback, Hines at halfback. Finucane is being rested. Grant named at 9. Smith getting a rest. Smith's been the best hooker this year. Thoughts?
Yeah. 100%.
He's been unbelievable.
So
Kroger Smith.
Smith not playing?
He's getting rested. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That'll change. I've just got to my bets. Croker Smith. That's fair.
Don't you think?
Fucking oath.
Yeah, I thought so.
Brimson out with a
so
fractured jaw.
Jerome Hughes rested?
KO'd.
Oh, KO'd. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Fogarty recalled.
That was hectic.
That was fucking hectic.
That was hectic.
Oh, man, I hate seeing that shit.
That was
Fuck, I hate seeing that now. Fogarty recalled at halfback for Sexton. Who you got? Titans v the Storm.
Storm true.
Will they tie the rugby league record? Yeah.
So since
1908.
You know, it's a
No, 1975. The Roosters.
No, but like since of all rugby, it's not like a fucking NRL record.
No.
It's like a rugby league record.
It's a rugby league
Rugby
record.
league record.
like they'll equal since the time it's been recorded since 1908, they'll equal the best since then.
Most wins, not undefeated because there was a few draws. But yeah, most wins, 1978.
Hold on.
75.
Wait.
Hold on.
Melbourne haven't had draws.
No. There's some undefeated streak, which is like 35 because there was a draw in there. But the biggest win streak.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think draws count. I think that if you
No,
have a
if
draw,
you
that's
didn't,
not a
no,
win.
if you drew, you didn't win.
Yeah.
If you draw, that's the end.
Yeah, I don't account a 35 streak as a draw in the middle, in my
No.
opinion.
No.
I spit at that.
It's just not good
No,
enough.
disgust me.
Yeah, it's disgraceful. So how many games will this be?
19 in a row.
19.
Fuck, you must be licking your lips going, we got to come up against the Titans to make the record.
What about Bellamy whipping his hog out going, even though I'm going for a 100-year record, I'm not going to play my best players.
Yeah, it's true. It's just going to rest.
It's ain't give a fuck.
Rest the cheese.
Smith needs a rest.
Smith.
And Finucane.
Is this his way of saying records mean nothing to us?
And the
Well, no,
record was set by the Roosters, which was coached by Jack Gibson, who is arguably
So this is to break it?
Equal
equal.
Yeah, you'll fucking do that easy.
Mate, could you, if they break it with that big dick move, because, even he can say, in 20 years, I actually rested my best players when I equaled it.
And we equaled it. Well, and then broke it the next week. The Storm are going to beat the piss out of them with the greatest respect. That's about all I have to say on that.
It's in depth. It's true. Sometimes you just got to shoot straight to the
Sometimes
fucking...
you can't
The
go in
Titans
depth.
can't fucking roll with them.
If the Titans at $7 get a win here, Eddie, I'll No, we're not going to finish the sentence. I'm not doing anything.
Well, look, mate, 10% returns. If you go hard at that $1.10,
yeah.
10% returns in a day
Hey,
or 2 hours, it's pretty easy work.
Pretty easy
It's light work.
Yeah.
People spend decades in the market looking for those returns, Tom.
10% returns are good in the market for a while.
Fucking oath, dude.
Baby. Look at it that way.
Look, they've even got guys without faces.
What's
Tepai
with
Moroa.
So they've got Jordan Grant on the bench, Harry Grant. What's with Melbourne Storm and the same last names?
They love it, don't they? Smiths, Grants, Bromwiches.
You know what's going to be a hectic random stat? The first time 2 Smiths have won Dally M Hooker in a row that aren't the same person.
Oh, that's a random stat.
Yeah, that's a random stat because Brandon Smith will probably win Dally M Hooker of the year. Cameron Smith won it last year.
There you go.
The first time.
See, look at it and go, Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, same one. No, different. But they're from the same club. I know. Wig
Wrong.
out, right?
Wig out.
Well, Lachlan Croker probably going to win it, though, so that'll probably fuck it up.
Well, look. Get on him.
What's he
Even though you
paying?
can't anymore. No, you can't. You can't bet on the Daliums anymore.
Oh, because that fucker.
Because that bloke,
those fucking idiots.
that bloke who was counting the fucking ballots, he went around to like all these different bookies and put on like fucking 50 grand on Bellamy to win Coach of the
I
Year.
think
at
they were the
$9.
people running the.
Yeah,
He was people running the like.
He was
stats
collating the data.
Yeah.
So walk
He
everyone.
had the answer.
Yeah.
So walk everyone through the situation. A bloke was taking care of the Dally M boats.
Yes.
And he was actually literally counting the.
Well, he was involved in such a way that he knew the outcome,
Yeah.
right? And he knew that Craig Bellamy was going to win Coach of the Year at like $9. He was highly unlikely. It was like a big shock. And he went around to like every bookie in town and put 10 grand on here, 10 grand on there. Like I think it amounted to 50 or 60 grand he put on, which obviously flagged with the fucking bookies who told the NRL, and they were like, "Who put him on? Oh, this dickhead. Well, he's actually in charge of voting." And then,
So put it on his name.
well, if he didn't, it was under his mate's name, and it was very
Or he
fucking easy
changed
to
the
work.
first letter of each of his names.
Mate, they worked it out in about 2
Yeah,
seconds.
it was
flat.
a vol porn situation.
Yeah. Oh, Vol porn of fucking the exact same address.
Yes.
And now you can't bet on the Dally M's.
Is he the biggest dog in Australia?
He's a huge dog.
Yeah, big dog.
He's a one-upper, I reckon.
Has to be a one-upper. It's like, dude, come on.
Was he jailed for that?
I don't believe so.
He's a one-upper, fake scallywag dog.
Yeah.
And he's shit scissorer.
And he wouldn't, he wouldn't
No, he's never
scissor.
scissored
He's
his
never
life.
scissored in his
Nah.
life. Fucking
He'd
dog.
get a cramp, the dog.
Virgin.
I tell you what, he got scissored in jail, that's for sure.
Well,
If he
they do a
went.
lot of scissoring there. A lot of jail scissoring.
I'll tell you,
Always
wanna-
consensual.
Not the scissoring you want.
no way. I tell you what, when it comes to scissoring in a place that you don't want to be scissored in,
Prison scissors are not the scissoring for the
you're not even
average
allowed
human.
scissors in there.
No.
So if you've got,
they make them.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. If you've got blokes making scissors, they're not the scissors you want in your
They're
hand.
not. No. Prison scissoring is you get shanked probably with scissors.
With someone's scissors.
Yes. Scissor.
But yeah, what a dog! What a like going around, like make it like greedy. You know what? That's greed.
It is
You
great.
could have just thrown a few lazy grand and they would have been sweet.
Yeah.
But you got ahead of yourself.
You
mate.
went hard.
And
Went
now
way
you ruined
too
it for
hard.
the rest of us.
You went way too hard.
What an idiot! Have you got anything, Matt? There?
Nah, it doesn't say anything about jail time.
You know what's funny? So you
Anything about scissoring?
want to hear something real?
Was he
fucking
scissored to death?
funny? Did you find out whether he likes scissoring?
Unconfirmed. I'll keep looking.
So last week, you know how we're doing the finding out whether what ice peeled back means. So we sat there for probably 15 minutes.
No,
talking
I know.
Utter nonsense.
We talked about this.
Yeah. The first Google, it says it straight away.
I know. And he came up with the most convoluted fucking answer. We were like,
What did you Google?
No, I actually
didn't Google it, did you?
I actually told Tom this.
Yeah.
That was wrong. I found
He's
that
right.
immediately, but that was proven. There's been dated to be said before that. Which
oh, so
it was-
Matt's actually right.
So you're
I'm
I
right.
bagged him out,
I'm
and then I
right.
told him we bagged him out, and then he was like, "Well, actually, you guys are idiots." And I was like, "Well, I'm not going to talk about
sent
that."
you
So
the
Matt,
article.
do we potentially owe you one? Well, are we? I didn't really. Do I fully accuse you?
Never
I don't
apologize. Never, we don't apologize.
You don't apologise?
No.
I don't
It's
negotiate.
not
even to slaves.
Oh,
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
No. You can't
So
apologize.
you went deeper in the interwebs and you
yeah, because
found
I wanted to look just in case like the first one was a lie.
Yeah.
And then it said it actually means like the original saying was eyes are skinned, and then it actually made the point of saying meaning that the reference to that politician or policeman whatever is untrue.
Wow. So we myth bust. Wow. So for people
So
listening,
you could call this show Mythbusters.
yeah, you could because people listening actually put it up on the screen on the YouTube of this episode, but people that are listening, if you Google what does eyes peeled back mean, the myth was that we just busted.
Yes.
Was that there was a policeman and his last name was Peel and he was a really good policeman or something.
And it was like.
Didn't he invent the police or something?
Yeah, it was like his police troop or some shit like that he was running, and they were called the Peels or something.
The Peelers?
I tell you what though.
Peelers?
If it's a proud moment as a dribbler, if you dribble shit and then it gets put on Google as the actual thing.
Yes.
And it's actually not even true, but you've dribbled so well, so true, so pure.
You mean like Josh Schuster's blind? Because that's certainly
yeah,
something.
I've been there, done it.
Yeah,
You know what? That's when you know you're in the flow state. If you can fucking say something so pure, so true, so shit, but it becomes the truth and it's not the truth.
Well, it's your own truth.
Yeah.
Speak your own truth.
Yeah, that's like when you evolve as a dribbler. You like
That's flow state dribble.
Yeah.
That's the only time you can say something
Well, it's when you get embraced by the community.
when they believe something that's not true, but you've said it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Happens all the
Schuster.
time.
So when you first come up with the Schuster, you were in the flow state.
comfortably. We were deep in the flow state.
If anyone wants to know what the flow state of dribble looks like, go to the episode in which you guys said that Schuster may be blind.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to tell you what episode that
You're
was.
going to have to just listen to all of them.
Well, you're in the flow state. When you don't know if you're in the flow state.
No, you
That's
don't.
the paradoxical thing about the flow state.
I
only
barely
once
know
you're
what
out
we
of it.
talked about this week.
10 minutes ago.
I don't even know what we
honestly-
started the show on. I quit. That's all I've got for you.
I don't even know where scissoring came from.
No. How we get to scissoring.
Matt.
Scissor King.
So you weren't in the flow state then?
No, I remembered that somehow. Basically, because I've been looking at him while I've been talking about scissoring. That's helped.
Yeah.
That's helped immeasurably.
Edward Scissorhands. Scissor legs.
Edward Scissorlegs.
Scissorlegs. So it's kind of
Someone cut that up.
So Connor Watson is Edward Scissorlegs.
Yeah, he is. That's his alias.
Yeah.
He just chops birds. That's where the word chop come from.
Yeah.
Edward Scissorlegs.
Connor Watson is Edward Scissorlegs.
Yeah. Cutter Watson is Edward Scissorlegs.
Scissorlegs. Starring Edward Scissorlegs.
Oh, that's great. I'm going Storm and Storm hard, true and pure, 13 plus.
Yep.
Manly versus the Raiders. What are your thoughts, guys? What were your thoughts on the game on the weekend?
It was Manly were in a fucking mood. We knew that. They were just a moody rugby league team, and they just beat the shit out of the Eels like we called, and it felt fantastic.
It was such a good game of rugby league because that's probably the best 13, 17 men I've ever played, I reckon.
Yeah.
Comfortably. Absolutely demolished the Eels, who didn't fucking...
They had no oomph.
They had no oomph. The oomph... You could literally... It was the first game of rugby league I've ever watched where I saw oomph leaving the bodies of the players to the point where they started dropping the ball cold.
About 7 or 8 just
Like,
cold
there was
drops.
about 9 or 10 cold drops in a row. I go, holy shit, oomph has left the building from these losers and gone to Manly.
Ruben Garrick, now the highest point scorer in the history of Manly for a season. He broke that record about 10 times in the game.
He kept breaking it, which was
Yeah.
nice to see, Tom.
He'll break it again this weekend.
He will. But, like, Tommy out the back, no one can defend him. It's impossible. Like, I'm watching it going, holy shit, he's basically broken rugby league, and now he has the keys to the city.
Yeah. He's not playing this weekend. He's been named, but he won't play.
And everyone's like, oh, he got shut down in the Melbourne game. I'm like, I reckon he's standing a little bit deeper against the Eels because I was like, I think he thought, fuck, they're going to try and rush me. I'll stand a little bit deeper, and then I'll just palm you and brush you, and off I go.
Yeah.
So do you think Manly is sucking the oomph out of teams and withholding it themselves to unleash on other opponents?
Yes, that's exactly what we're saying.
So they leach the oomph out.
They leach the oomph. They store the oomph.
Well, they don't leach it. Oomph leaves of its
Yeah.
own volition. Oomph sees oomph having the time of its life, and it goes, I want to go to that oomph party. And it goes, fuck these losers. I'm going to winners.
Yeah.
To imply that we leached anything is
No,
ridiculous.
yeah. There's no oomph leached. Oomph is
Absorbed.
Yes.
Commandeered. We commandeer their oomph.
Well, the
when it
oomph
starts to
knocks
leave.
on the door and goes, can I join? You go, of course.
Of course you can. No one wants to be in that fucking team. We take pity on this oomph that's fucking trying to get out of Parramatta.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Bring this oomph in and give it a nice hot meal. Take a warm bath. This oomph seen some shit.
Come in here, oomph. You had a rough day.
Moses Sully's hair has oomph for days.
Dude, exactly. That just screams oomph.
That does
He
scream.
shaves off the top, huge out the back.
Morgan Harper's moustache screams oomph.
Yeah.
Moses is a fucking trendsetter.
Ruben Garrick's cheekbones is oomph personified.
Yep.
Kieran Foran's goatee, a lot of oomph
A
in that.
lot of oomph. Daly's neck. Oomph.
Well, Ruben Garrick he's got so much oomph in him that it's like
popping out of his fucking
It's hard.
cheeks.
He's trying to fucking keep it in. It's popping up his cheekbones. Cherry Evans is coming out his neck. You know what I mean?
So Cherry Evans is actually exploding.
Schuster's got so much oomph he became blind.
Yeah.
So Cherry Evans is next long because his head is exploding with oomph.
You know, like in those African
it's like
tribes
where-
where they
it's-
put rings around their neck? He's just storing all the oomph in his neck. And It's
Yeah.
just like fucking... If you remove that oomph, he's like his neck would flop over.
It'd go like, psh. Yeah.
yeah.
fuck.
So, look.
Again, none of this is commonly known.
No, this is all science-based as well.
What's Adam doing with Tom Trbojevic? Did he fracture it? Didn't he fracture it? He didn't now. Reports are coming out.
Well, he's got a steel plate in there, and I think also, at least from what we understand, Ruben's donated part of one of his cheekbones to Tommy just to help shore it up. But it hit a metal plate. It just sort of moved around a little bit. It's going to take a bit more than that to fucking upset Tommy. But he's like, you know what? I'm just going to have a rest. Name me, but I'll just rest.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the wool pull.
I think that's what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned wool pull from Desi.
Yeah.
Just making people think twice about what's going on with the Tommy knocker.
Just going to look. I mean, he
I
needs
don't
a rest.
think they'll play him because why do you have to? You don't need to.
Mm.
It's like there's one goal this season. It's to win a comp, not to beat the fucking Raiders in round 25 or whatever it is.
Which
Like,
we'll do anyway, comfortably.
but that wasn't on the fucking to-do list at the start of the
No.
season. You know what I mean? It was like we better beat the Raiders in round 25. Like no one
gives a
no one
shit.
cares about that.
Okay, so who you going? Manly or
Manly 13 plus.
Manly 13 plus comfortably.
Manly win and win well.
Olakawatu and Sully. Talk about, Brad Parker obviously gets KO'd heavily by Ryan Madison, and then Sully comes on and scores 2 tries. He is a rugby league handful, Moses Sully.
2 hands.
2 hands, depending on the size of your hands. And talk about just like a nice little ace up the fucking sleeve to have in terms of depth. He's in like the best form of his career and he's not even fucking playing.
It's unbelievable. I've never seen him play better, ever. And then you've got Ruben Garrick, who will play at fullback, presumably this weekend, running over the fucking top of Gutho. I was like, holy shit.
That was surprising. I couldn't.
He literally
Bumping thousands off his next contract.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like, I'll take $100,000, bro. It was unbelievable stuff.
I'm going Raiders in a grind fest.
Fuck off.
I think
Fuck
Raiders
off,
1 to
mate.
12.
Be honest. Can you ever be honest on
I'm
this?
being honest. I see a lot to like in the Raiders, mate.
Jesus Christ.
It's an opinion.
Yeah, it's
an
a shit one though. Paying
You
$5
see a lot to like in the
A
Raiders.
lot of oomph in that side. Even got guys like Papali'i. He's full of oomph.
What is crazy though is that Manly did lose to the Raiders last time, and the Raiders are paying $5. Now I will be backing Manly 13 plus all the time, but if you're a betting person, I'd be gobbling $5 in the Raiders.
Now, match of the round, in my opinion.
Not
Rabbitohs versus the Panthers.
Ooh,
Yes.
This is hot to try.
I don't know.
I'm going Bunnies just off the top. I'm going Bunnies for the upset.
This is Bunny's reality check.
Yes.
If you come in and get towed again, you clearly aren't. You know,
You're not cut from the cloth.
you're not cut from the cloth that you need to be cut from. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they took lost personally, as they should have. I think they're so hot right now. Cody Walker, fuck.
Yeah.
Talk about oomph.
Talk about fuckable.
Fuckable oomph.
Fuckable oomph. Him and Latrell, just absolutely.
Oh my God, Latrell.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
He's a big, big, thick boy.
Fuck, he's good.
And he just
So good.
He just turns it on. Like,
Hey, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's doing. He's like, bruh, fuck off.
yeah.
He's
it's
gonna
just
pump him.
crazy. And when he gets in that centre position, it's almost like he's like, oh, you forgot that I'm still the best centre in the world, even though I play fullback.
Sorry.
Boom. Step, fend.
Whoops.
Oh, you forgotten? You forgotten I was going to get $800K to play centre? Yeah, that's right. 800,000.
Whoops. Got a lot of
Whoops.
oomph.
800,000 rugby league dollars, as you would say.
Yeah.
Now, who you
Johnston
got?
back.
Johnston back. Back. Is that? No, sorry, no. To'o's not back.
No, To'o
Apologies.
not back.
What do you guys think?
I'm going Bunnies here.
My original thought when I woke up this morning was Bunnies.
Yeah.
I've been on Bunnies and I'm like, they're fucking hot, they're in a mood, but I'm like, are the Panthers all of a sudden dog shit? Like, no, not really. That's not the case.
They're not the same spot as they were 7 weeks ago. Or
Yeah.
so.
But is this the game where they're like,
They rise to the occasion.
You've got to have to rise now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be doing your rising in September. You want to see if you still fucking got it.
No, you're right.
Bunnies still seem to be rising. It's just one where you kind of go like, it's a statement game for both.
I think it's going to be such a fucking good game to watch.
Yeah.
Such a
But like
good
the
game
Bunnies there's, as we've said, there's 4 teams realistically I think that can win, maybe 5, probably 4. They haven't played any of them recently.
That's the interesting thing. You know, they've beaten sides that
Rabbitohs have beaten the piss out of fucking
Beaters.
lukewarm, cold sides.
losers. And so that's why this is their show up or shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But also for Penrith, if they lose, it's like, fucking put a line through them, I reckon.
Kind of like, I want Penrith, I want Bunnies to win because I want a line through Penrith because I know we'll beat the Bunnies. I want Penrith to be down, even like, because that'll fuck their confidence if they lose to the Bunnies. And then it's basically like the Storm, and it's everyone to get chasing the Storm.
If the Storm, like if they lose to the Bunnies, I think Storm are sitting there going, boys, we're on here.
We are on.
Which is good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want a Melbourne side that thinks they've fucking home and home.
You know, it would be a fucking an incredible grand final. Manly Rabbitohs. Because the expansive footy, you got the big throbbers at the back, the big thick dicks just ramming each other. Touching tips constantly. You know, fuck, you scissoring all day.
Oh, yeah.
And all night.
All night.
And all day.
Fuck, I'm going Rabbitohs 1-12.
Love it. I'm going Bunnies. I haven't got a margin in there.
Yeah.
It's probably a 1-12 if it happens for the Rabbitohs.
Now, Sharks v the Tigers. Who you got?
Sharkies.
I've got the Sharkies as well. Now, this is probably where I get done by a DMC, and I should know better. But the Sharks, I mean, the Sharks have just probably got more to play for, I think. Are the Tigers still in shot with the finals?
They can still make it, yeah.
That's just mind-blowing to me, but I'm just going the Sharks.
I'm pretty sure they're both on the same points.
Well,
oh, really?
Tricky.
They both on 18? Yeah.
Wow.
Which, if you put a gun to my head and said who's higher on the ladder, you'd say Sharks, but I wouldn't have said that they were on the same points. No way. I don't know. I watched the Sharks game last week against the fucking Knights, which was riveting football. I still thought they showed a bit.
I thought they showed a lot, actually. I was surprised with how much grit they showed for a team that pretty much is done. Well, not, fully. Well, yeah, fuck.
Done-ish.
Well,
but it's insane to think that the Tigers and the Sharks are on the same point.
I know. I find that crazy.
And that's why I'm worried. Like you just don't know with the Tigers where is this the game where they just go because they've got a sniff. They're like, we can actually fucking make it, boys. Whereas the Sharks, I kind of feel like they're like in disappointment. Like fuck, we should be doing much better. Whereas don't get me wrong, the Sharks showed a lot of grit and they probably should have won the game, but had some pretty tough calls.
The Tigers are overperforming and the Sharks are underperforming. And
so I feel like the Tigers might be like, fuck, boys, we're on here. Like, we can actually make a fucking finals. They do make some pretty poor decisions, so the Tigers. It's tough, man.
I'm actually looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
Because of everything you just said.
It's going to be a shit fight.
It's going to be a shit show.
It's going to be it's going to be a rugby league shit show.
Yeah, a 3 p.m. shit show.
Saturday?
Wall-to-wall poo, but...
What a time slot for this game.
Poo slinging.
I mean...
It is. It's poo slinging.
If you wanted to see a good old-fashioned poo sling... What better time slot than Saturday 3 p.m?
Yeah.
That's when shit's thrown.
We're talking fucking drop balls on the first tackle. We're talking offloads that don't need to be
kicking out on the full.
Yeah. It'll put Mount Panorama during race week to shame.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be poo.
They used to throw poo at each other for fucking...
For fun.
For fun.
Kicks.
Well, not for fun, for a living up there.
Oh, fuck. And it's just... it's going to be like... Probably 12-11 win by a drop goal. Alex 12's going to kick the fucking drop goal.
Yeah, I back that.
Absolute poo.
I don't think you rule out extra time. More poo to be thrown.
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
More poo where that came
So do you
from.
think it's just going to be who has the most shit to throw?
That's it.
Well, who can absorb the most shit and keep moving forward, I think.
Keep throwing.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to go Tigers for the upset.
I mean, I think I'm tipping Sharks, but I also like Tigers for the upset, so I don't know. It's a tough one.
Now,
Sharkies.
the Knights v the Doggies. Knights have so much to play for, much because they can make the 8, and they should make the 8, which would be crazy to think. Doggies, tough year.
Tough year.
Is that we're calling it a tough year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tough year.
Sure.
I think that's what we call it. It was a tough year, Dogs. It's been tough.
It's been a tough
We're
year.
looking really.
They've been looking to 2022 for quite some time.
Yeah.
Since 2020.
I think so, dude.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
get me out of here. Like that chicken, Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
trying to escape the old folks' home.
What is the future of Cole Flanagan decided?
Man of Steel?
Mate, I honestly don't know. I feel sorry for him. He's just like, yeah, fuck.
I
It's
feel sorry for
interesting.
everyone there.
Their move
Yo-yoing up and down couldn't be
worse
in and out.
and he hasn't been able to play much footy because he's being shut down. Mate, it's just tough to play well at that club. Like, you know, I don't know.
I think we back Connor Watson in for a try. Edward
Thompson's
Scissorlegs, because he's now signed with a new club. Just
Edward
to show the
Scissorlegs is starting.
I reckon Edward
There you go.
Scissorleg, he gets the first.
Yeah, Edward Scissorlegs first try
First
scorer,
try
maybe
scorer.
100%. I put him down for 3.
He's in for a big one.
Yeah.
He's got his like scissoring and scissoring.
He's
well.
got sharpened the scissors.
Well, he knows what fucking crossing the chalk 3 times would mean to the club.
Yeah.
Particularly where they're sitting there. Are they in the 8 at the moment, or are they
Yeah.
9th?
They're in, yeah.
I think they might be 7th.
Are they 7th?
There you go. Lot to
But there's
play
a
for.
shitload on the same amount of
Yeah,
points.
your scissors got to be sharp to make
So
sure you
it's
stay
not
there.
out. They're
Oh,
out.
so
now.
they're
9 to
out now.
22.
2020, 18, 18, 18. Okay. Okay.
So the 2 losses.
But shit,
Yeah.
if you fucking lose to Canterbury, good lord.
Titans, it's surprising. Titans are there. Like,
Who they got? Melbourne? Nah. Then
fuck.
Newcastle. Shit, it's tight.
oh fuck. Yeah, I'm going Knights and Knights. 13
Knights,
plus.
Knights well.
Eels versus the Cowboys. I mean, this is a great game to bounce back for the Eels. If they can't
Yeah.
put them to the sword, then fuck me.
That's tough.
That is tough.
Cowboys are actually despicable.
Do you reckon Cowboys are value at 350?
No.
No.
Oh my.
That's actually
God.
not value at all.
That's value at all.
shocking.
That's horrible value.
I know. But it says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know what? Yeah, it does. Fucking
The Cowboys are
are
350?
Yeah.
What?
That's almost.
That's insulting.
Brad should be putting that up on the train in the
He
walls.
should have.
You look at that game and you tell me who's will like
Yeah. They should be beating the shit out of them.
they should be $9.
It's crazy. That's wild, man. Wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Eels to win.
Eels to win and Eels to win well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
'Cause they'll
But
be-
I'd love a Cowboys win, obviously.
They'll
from a
be
moral
coming out
standpoint.
firing.
Sorry to all of the Parramatta dribblers who DM us and tag us in comments going, stop fucking talking shit about Parramatta. No, I will not.
Roosters, Dragons. Roosters 13 plus.
I've actually tipped the Dragons.
Wow.
Have you?
Just head to head, yeah.
That's fucking
Ballsy.
bold.
Well, it's DMC. It's DMC. I
Oh,
don't think
mate,
it'll happen.
you don't have to explain to me the metric.
No, you understand it. But with Radley, I mean, look, their team is still hectic. There's no, like, I don't think that Victor and Crichton are the difference between the Dragons beating them and not. But just a weird time of year.
They get Hargreaves back.
Ah, fuck.
I
that
just
doesn't help.
haven't. The Dragons brand of rugby league football the last month hasn't been good by any metric.
Well, they're starting Amoni, who came on with 20 minutes to go
He's a
last
gun.
week
He's a
and
gun.
set up a try and scored a try.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be enough.
No, maybe it'll turn. There you go. Dragons
going
head to head.
Roosters are a top 4 side.
Roosters 1 to 12.
Dragons head to head.
Broncos v. What are you on? Roosters?
Roosters 13 plus.
13 plus.
Yeah.
Broncos v. the Warriors. This will be a good game, I reckon.
This will be a good game.
Why? Why do you reckon it'll be good?
Like, I just think that they both will play expansive footy. I just honestly think it's just going to be an enjoyable game to watch. Because Broncos, like, they're showing a bit of fight. I mean, Roosters are a top 4 side. They lost by one point. And
Fair
they
loss,
probably
though.
got robbed.
Fair loss. Didn't get robbed.
Definitely got
You
robbed.
can't hit someone high. That's the rules, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck.
They're the
Stop
rules.
every second tackle if that was
They're
rules.
the rules that the way that I understood the game to be officiated. That could happen to
Do you
me.
reckon?
and
Do you
I'd be
reckon
like, fair
teams
call.
should get 1 point for close losses, like losses where
Yeah.
they tried really hard but didn't quite get it done?
like a brave loss?
Like a brave loss?
We could consider it, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Something I definitely put on the table. Not worth. I think it would make the comp interesting because
certain-
people
yeah.
would fight to the end. Then
Yeah, I mean that's
that's what we do at the Broncos. We
spoken
fight.
like a dude whose team's coming 15th.
It's all right. The glory will come.
Are you a chance for the spoon yet, or is
Nah, doggies, we can't.
Doggies, you got
Is it locked?
I'm pretty sure.
Is it clinched?
We'd have to lose everyone, and they'd have to win everyone. I think.
Well, that's
So
doable.
you tell me there's a chance.
So you've got to win this to avoid the spoon.
3 games left.
nah.
Yeah, if you lose,
No, they've got to win.
your for and against is superior. So no, you're good.
Yeah, we're double their points. They're 6 points. We're 12 points. Matter of fact.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We could actually leapfrog the Cowboys. So fucking hell, that'd be a win.
You actually are on exact. Wait, what's your for and against?
The same.
Exactly.
2
the same?
minus 250. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
So yeah, there you go. You win. Parramatta win. You're not coming second last.
That'd be sick. Yeah, boys, we're up. Woo! Let's go. 14th. I am going Broncos. Broncos 1 to 12.
I'll go the Warriors 13 plus.
Broncos head to head.
Yes, that's what I'm
How
talking
do you
about.
tipping the Raiders, Eddie? And you just, there's no fucking.
I got to be honest.
There's no.
I'm always
spot there.
honest.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're a fucking.
When am
you're
I
a
ever
dog.
not honest?
No, you're a dog. Disgraceful. Broncos.
I think they'll win.
Fuck off.
I like it. See, he's a man of principle, unlike yourself, who's fucking 13 plus. Give
Fuck
me a
off,
break.
brah. Warriors 13 plus.
Give me a break. Now, make sure to follow the Hello Sport podcast. Is there any announcements? Anything going on?
No announcements.
No
currently
announcement?
that I'm aware of. Anyway.
Punter and
Like
dribble.
and subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe, 5 stars, whatever.
Yeah, go to YouTube as well. Subscribe to Hello Sport.
Yeah,
Yep.
do that. Do that, actually.
About Even, it's released on Wednesday as well.
Yep, Wednesday midday. And leave a comment in the comment section of About Even on Wednesday for your bet for the round, and we'll pick one. If it gets up, you get a case of Bloke.
You don't have to do anything. If you win, you get bloke.
Yeah, literally just you light 2 seconds, write your bet, leave it, and a bloke could end up at your door,
Yeah.
With 24 other blokes.
which is fucking
23 other
23
blokes.
other blokes.
Exactly.
Ready to party.
If you know
It's
what I
all
mean.
COVID safe.
all
Yeah.
COVID safe. All
Yeah,
being
it
safe.
actually, New South Wales Health has
Ticked it.
given it the tick of approval.
Make sure to grab a case of Bloke in a bar. Go to bloke.shop. I think we're pretty much sold out of like nearly everything except for a couple of hats. So grab a hat, join the Bloke Club, and I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.